4. Gather around, freak. It's time once again to open the Grimoire of Familiar Killers. And we get super meta because this week we ask, what's your favorite scary movie? But the answer could be this film or it could be one of the other familiar killers. Who knows? So gather around the internet campfire and gather around the internet telephone or walkie-talkie because it's time once again for Hey, did you see this one?
The night is dark, and the air is still. The moon casts an eerie glow over the internet, where a group of curious individuals have gathered to discuss their shared fascination for the macabre. They hold in their hands a book with a foreboding presence, bound in flesh and inked in blood, a tome of horror that only opens its pages when a sacrifice is made. Within its ancient passages lie the secrets of the most infamous murderers and monsters of all time. Join us. But beware, for once this book is open, there's no telling what horrors may be unleashed. This is the Grimoire of Familiar Killers.
I don't get it. They should be here by now.
What are you gonna do?
Hello and welcome to a ding dong at the very top of the program. Who could it be?
Steve and Jason, congratulations on 201 episodes. I'm so proud of you guys. I knew you'd get there.
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks, Alex. Happy birthday to Alex Gow. It's his birthday today. He forgot to with the video for last week. He wanted to wish us well on 201 episodes. It is our 201st episode. This is Hey, Did You See This One? The weekly review, reaction, roundtable discussion podcast where we just have to ask the question, hey, did you see this one? On this show, we take a film and completely pull it apart, leaving no stone unturned. We are your co-hosts. I am Jason, or Phil Scream, and I'm joined as always by Stephen Boba Blackfly Waters.
That's me. Hello. Hi.
And the Grimoire of Familiar Killers is open once again. All the spooky ghouls and all the spooky ghosts are flying out. I got my ghost shirt on. I'm ready to talk about screaming and gore. That's right. So just a little backstory for everybody here. We finished up with Freddy. Freddy is no longer. We covered all.
He's no longer with us.
He's no longer with us. He's back in the dreamosphere. So we had to decide what are we going to do next. And Steven thought it would be great to do Ghostface.
Something. We could play the recording and just cut it off once it's revealed.
Okay.
Probably what we should have done at the beginning. Now that I think about it. Ding dong. Oh, who's that? Let me open the door. Oh, it's a spooky noise coming from inside the door.
Dried, cracked and crumbling. A killer's story comes to an end as a chapter reaches its conclusion. But the stories do not. For when one chapter is closed, another opens. The grimoire creeps open once again. This time, a new face dares you to answer the phone.
Hello?
For this month, hey, did you see this one? And the Grimoire of Familiar Killers dares you to answer the question, what's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, yay.
Delightful.
It's Ghostface Killer. He's here. He's finally here. Everybody scream!
Ghostface
so good.
Killer! No one can get Illa.
So good.
Oh, I'm glad.
I don't know how you did that. You nailed it.
I'm very good at voices. It's what I do. Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't have the video ready. I got really sick, and I didn't expect that to happen. But hopefully next week.
Yeah. So stay tuned for a video, which will be excellent as always. It worked. That video that we used worked out because most of the people that are usually on this month were in the credits. So, but yes, we are talking about Scream, the 1996 hit horror film. We have, I guess now I introduce our guests. What the fuck are we doing? Please welcome back to the show for the 9,000th time. Ben, everybody has one Sheriff Mason. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to the show. The audience.
Great to be back. I'm so excited.
The audience is asleep, I think.
We should have picked up the slack.
That's all I needed right there. Thank you, Steve.
There we go.
They were just they were funneling in.
Yeah.
And
They were held at the door by the ushers because they missed the first call.
Exactly.
I'm doing COVID
They didn't
tests.
hear the. I'd also like to welcome back to the show. Both of you are well beyond the 5 Timers Club, but Cassandra Hodgins, please welcome them back to the show. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks.
And
So happy to be here. I love the spooky stuff. It's
It's
fun.
spooky season SZN. Can we give them a 5 Timers Club sting since they
Welcome to the 5 Timers Club. I never thought this would happen.
That's so great. I feel like we should get like some kind of like badge or pin so I can put it on my denim jacket and walk around like a true champion.
Yeah,
It's in the
really.
mail.
Putting it, yeah. Oh, nice. Thank you.
Okay.
Right. So welcome back. I think. Hell, whoa.
Stop things. Get the fuck out of my audio library, you asshole.
Sorry. Sorry. I just bumped my mouse. Listen, welcome back to the show. Thank you guys.
Bumped my mouse was my nickname in high school.
Hey, that's the first one.
Nice.
No.
He is
I'd
feeling
like
better.
I'd like to ask either of you who wants to do the brief synopsis, because both of you could probably synopsize this. So, eeny, meeny,
Please.
miny, mo.
Cass, go ahead.
You want me to do it? Okay.
Okay, but
Yeah,
there's a
go for it.
sting first.
There's a
I forgot.
Dun.
What is it again? Synopsis? Who do we want to talk to over here?
He's feeling a little woozy over here.
That was my nickname in high school.
Bitch.
Oh, Freddy, so rude.
Maybe he isn't completely gone because he was.
Well,
just
you were
here
wrong
now.
about that. It's Chucky who's done, not Freddy. We still got Freddy left this month.
No, that's right.
I do miss Chucky though.
Did you remember Chucky's speech that he made last year?
That's right. That's
It's
right.
good.
Yep. Next week we do have Freddy versus Jason. If you're playing at home, poster game. But okay, Cass.
Yes.
90 words or less.
I didn't write anything down today because I was sitting on the couch like a lazy potato. So I'm going to do my best. So, brief synopsis: 90 words or less. Story takes place in a little town in California where a double murder happens so quickly. Right after the year before, a girl named Sydney, her mother was killed. And since then, town's been kind of quiet, and now these murders are happening again. And we meet a crazy band of characters. Everybody is a suspect. Nobody really knows what's going on. And the twist will surprise you unless you've seen it like 50,000 times like me, and then you know. But I'm still always like, who did it? Lots of blood. It's good.
Movie makes there's a lot of busy business in this movie of trying to get you to think that every single person on screen at any point
Everyone.
Everybody else.
Very much.
Yeah.
And spoilers for the rest of the franchise. All the movies are like that.
That's their whole thing. It's a murder mystery and everyone's a suspect.
Very bad.
There's been another murder in Savannah. Savannah, California. Great. Thank you, Cass.
Super brief.
Super brief. That's what we need. Because we're holding Steven up by popsicle sticks and pipe cleaners right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to talk about our brief histories with the movie? Because we're gonna need some time.
Yeah. Let's do that.
A brief history.
I'm late on the draw too. I don't know if the Zardoz picture made it up, but anyway. Okay, so brief history is basically just your history with the film. We've all seen it a million times. We were all there when it came out. So, Ben, since
I was 2.
You were there.
I was kind of there.
Ben, would you like to give us your brief history with this film?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. The first horror movie I remember seeing in my life was A Nightmare on Elm Street. My dad sat me down in front of the TV. I would have been like 3 or 4. And he told me, nobody died in this movie. Everyone's friends are playing characters, just telling a story. And he really got me into horror that way. And of course, Nightmare on Elm Street, Wes Craven. Hooked me on horror and Wes's films. Down the road, 1996 hits. I'm like 14 years old. I see this movie. It finally comes out like in video stores, and my local video store was Just New Releases. That's what it's called. It was a horrible name. Give it and I rented it and watched it and fell in love with it immediately. Went back and got the owner to sell me a rental copy that he had just bought. Now, in 1996, VHS, before they hit the retail market, were insanely expensive for rental stores. So the first VHS tape I ever bought was Scream, and it cost me $97.95.
No way.
I didn't even have a job. That was all of my savings.
That's we're
that.
like the mid to late 90s. Like the reason movie rental businesses were so profitable and prevalent is because VHSs were so expensive that these companies would just buy tons of them so that you could rent them instead of having to spend hundreds of dollars on a VHS tape.
Exactly.
Crazy world we lived in. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, that's fine. I have always loved horror movies. You know that. But I don't think any of us can say we didn't find that they were getting stale by this point, right? So finding something that not only brings up horror and revitalizes slasher, but reintroduces mystery in such a way and a stinger twist. It had everything that everyone loved about horror but forgot about because it had been so downplayed and tired out. And there was a good 5 to 10 year period where horror was dying. Nobody wanted to admit it because it was still profitable, but it was unoriginal. And for some reason, the best way to make something original again was to reference how unoriginal horror has been.
Mm-hmm.
And it just blew up, and it opened my brain to my entire life's worth passion of horror films. I enjoyed what I had seen, but it didn't really do anything for me. And this really made me think. And not only did it make me think, it made me analyze everything that came afterwards. So is it a good movie? We'll get to that. But it reinvigorated a dying genre of film. And it's pretty rare. So it holds a really special place in my heart. And that's why I was so excited to talk to you all about this movie. And I can't wait to hear what you all think about it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, Ben. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Ben. Go around the circle. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, my name's Ben, and I'm a horror fan.
I mean, just to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, it's an interesting. I mean, I guess you can call it an artifact now because it is 30 years old, but it did something that slasher movies were tired, like you say. You go into a slasher movie and you know exactly what you're getting. They, mostly because a lot of them were just the seventh installation into a movie where we already know who the killer is, and there's, like you said, there's no mystery there. But all of that sort of mystery energy was reserved for thriller movies, which was its own genre at this point, a very popular one, and one that I truly also love just as much as I love horror. But what Scream did in a very smart way was take a lot of the formula that you would put into a thriller and inject it into a slasher film. So now you've got sort of a marriage between two things. No one would ever kind of take a first glance at Scream and consider it a thriller, but it uses so many thriller mechanics that I enjoy that work so well in this, as dumb and fun as the movie is. There's some moments in the movie that are so funny that you're just kind of my mind is boggled so hard right now at how funny what I'm seeing is, but it's also smart. When Dewey goes up and he's eating an ice cream cone, the guy's smoking a
cigarette.
It only makes the guy smoking. It's so fucking funny. And
so good.
And you almost expect him to throw the cone and step on it as well.
You can see the actor making the choice of in his eyes, do I do it? No.
He does throw the cone down and you can hear the sound effect, but he doesn't step on the cone, which would be a scary movie moment, right? But yeah, I just wanted to kind of add on to what you were saying about how it was tired and it was almost wrung out to the point that the last Freddy Krueger movie had to go so meta just to be able to give us a little bit more mystery that was so removed because it's essentially a skeleton at this point. What else can you do with it? You've got to breathe some sort of new life into it.
Exactly.
And this movie is one of the first of many that became sort of the whole idea of the franchise is it's a meta movie, almost to the point that where we got to now with the later installations, it's meta on top of meta on top of meta, where it's there's a Scream movie within the Scream movie that's being referenced by the people who are in the Scream movie by the Scream villains. It gets crazy. I might as well just go into my first time as well. I'm sorry, I've been talking for so long here. I did take some flu medication before this, so I'm kind of a little bit zonky and weird.
You're coming up. You're coming up on that trip, buddy.
Yeah. The first time I saw this was at a sleepover, and it was on the TV, and I was refusing to watch it because I was too scared. I was probably 10 or something, right? Too young for Scream, I think. But I was playing F-Zero for the Nintendo 64 on a small TV away from the big TV, just trying my hardest to ignore the horrifying peripheral vision where I'm there's something scary happening. Don't look over there. Just win this race. You can do it. You can do it, Steve. Anyway, that was the first time I saw it. But once I did sort of break that fear, we've talked about on the show a million times. Once I got over the fear factor of watching horror movies, the Scream franchise was already, I think, well into the third one. And I went back and I watched the first three and was okay, these are good. They're actually like funny and interesting and intriguing in terms of mystery. Something that doesn't exist inside of the Freddy Krueger franchise, where you're like, Freddy did it, no questions asked. It's just everybody in the movie that's an idiot that doesn't know that Freddy did it. Yeah. Who's next? Cass, you go.
Cass, you go.
All right,
Yes, you go.
Well, it's so interesting to like talk about this movie with people who have like really grown up with it, because Ben, you might not know this about me, but I was very sheltered when I was young. So I didn't get to watch a lot of things. So I had to do a lot of catch up when I was older. And on top of that, this movie came out when I was 2. So I grew up more understanding all of the pop culture references of Scream without seeing it. And the first introduction I ever had to Scream was when I watched Scary Movie with my cousins, because they were allowed to watch it. I wasn't, but I got to sneak away and watch it. And I had my cousin Luke literally like explain to me the plot of Scream as I was watching Scary Movie, so I could understand what was going on. And I was like, that's really cool. This sounds like a great thing. Time went on, and it was always something I wanted to put on my list, and I just never got to it. So especially, I think it was COVID, like 2020. I finally sat down. I was like, I have all the time in the world. I am going through my list of all of these horror movies that are classics that I have not seen, and that just seems kind of sacrilege since I love horror so much. And I put it on, and I loved it immediately. And now it is my comfort movie. Every single October, I watch it. And then any day that I'm like not feeling great, I throw on Scream. It just like, there's a part of me that just immediately attached. And I don't know if that's also because I grew up with the pop culture side of it first. And I was like, it already feels familiar. It feels like home. But it's fantastic. I love it.
There is also like, there's probably like horror purists out there that'll be like, I can't believe you saw a Scary Movie before you saw Scream. But I think that there's like something to be said about having that parody horror genre available to people who are too frightened to watch pure horror movies, where they can go into that. And even those movies, as goofy as they are, will have moments of build up and drama that like gets you a little bit anxious and scared the same way a horror movie would. And it's almost like horror light, where you can ease yourself into the deep end of horror slowly. So I think that there's also something to be said for like having respect for that as well, right?
Yeah, but it's also funny because like if I had been able to watch like actual Scream at that age, I think I would have been able to handle it. Like I still loved like all aspects of horror, everything that I could get my hands on, I loved. I just didn't have my hands on it. I didn't get seen until later. So yeah,
I've talked about my history with horror a lot on this show. I don't have to go into it again, but basically I almost have the same experience as Cass, even though I was I was 11 when this movie came out. I probably would have seen it at 12 or 13, and it's one of the only movies that like I was also at a sleepover, it was on, and I was just like, I'm going to force myself to try to watch a horror movie. And I was terrified, and I basically shut it out of my head, and then Scary Movie comes out, and that was my my reintroduction to the movie, right? And what's interesting about it is I've known the twist this whole time. I was spoiled on the twist from a very young age. I saw the movie. It was like the trope of, these like guys obsessed with horror movies are the killers, spoilers. I love that element. But then like I rewatched this movie over the years, and when I was like probably 25, I watched it and I was like, there's no way that Billy's the killer. They've set it up like there's no way, and I know that he is. And then I watched all the Scream movies in about a 2-week span a few months ago, and I still was like, how is he the killer again? I don't know how it ends. I can't remember how it ends. And then Cass and I watched it last night, and we were looking at each other going, I still can't. How did they do this again? Because for some reason, when you're watching the movie, it just like tricks you into forgetting what the fucking plot twist is. If you just,
I feel like
when you like dive in and allow yourself to just like be in it, like go along for the ride, you're like, okay,
exactly.
Suspend disbelief for a second.
For me, it's like every time I watch this movie, I'm like, how did they trick anybody? Billy is so obviously a murderer.
Obvious?
Well,
obvious.
You see that stuff now. Like
he's all greasy. He can't ever look down the camera normally. He's
always looking at Stu like past somebody else, like over their shoulder, trying to be like, you got it? Okay.
We were playing the like who's the killer in this scene the whole time too.
Yeah.
So it's not like I actually forgot what the twist was. It's just sort of like the movie allows you on repeat viewings to let you suspend disbelief enough that it's interesting every single time.
But it's also like if you throw enough killers into the pot, you're not going to know which one's the real killer, right? Even when people are even saying things like, I'm obviously the like should be the top of the list of who is the killer. And it's like, well, maybe I didn't consider this guy enough. And then, you know, even at the end when they're throwing everything at you, it's like, I see what the movie is wisely putting way too many players on the chessboard to make it difficult for you to figure out who it is. Otherwise, you'd be like, it's Billy for sure. This guy's got murder vibes.
At the same time, though, like they set it up so you could actually have Dewey be the killer in certain scenes. And that was
even
that
a
was
moment where the principal seems like he could be the killer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The way he's like fucking around with the scissors and shit. You're like, oh, maybe this guy's the killer.
Like, I also love that they use the knife sound with when he like brandishes the scissors. It makes the of the knife. I'm like, sick. That's cool.
It should have been Wes Craven dressed as Freddy Krueger as the janitor. That would have been a real.
That would have been great.
Cool. Fred,
could you imagine Principal Hembry is the killer? Just like slashes someone. It's like,
I could imagine that. In fact, I wanted that to be the way that it was because I was such a fan of Henry Winkler when I was a kid. Then when I saw him, I was like, "What is happening? That's the Fonz."
I love him. He's great.
Amazing.
That's good. I think we all had similar experiences with the movie. My question to you, Ben, I think is like, when you were watching it for the first time, did it have the dead giveaways that are so obvious now when you watch it? Or were you just like on the edge of your seat and being enthralled by all the new things Wes Craven was coming up with this movie?
Well, like I knew Wes Craven from like his back catalog growing up as a horror fan. But for me, I had never been presented with the opening stinger of having like a well-known actor killed off at the beginning. And since Scream, that's happened many, many times. But I loved Drew Barrymore growing up. Like I said, like I think I've told you before, the first movie I remember seeing in theaters was The Land Before Time, and after I left the theater, exploded. Apparently, the first movie I actually saw in theaters, which I was too young to remember, was E.T. So the first movie I've ever been in a theater for had Drew Barrymore in it. And I've always loved that idea. I love that story. So I kind of try and follow everything she's done. And when I saw her in this movie, and you look at the marketing, like I'm like, this is a Drew Barrymore movie. It's amazing. Her face is front and center. She's going to be the star. And to anybody who wasn't watching Party of Five, nobody knew who Neve Campbell was.
Yeah.
So it was such a cool, like, bait and switch. Sorry, I think I went way off track of what you were asking.
No,
we love Drew Barrymore. That is the important messaging.
That's
what matters, right?
I also grew up with Drew Barrymore, and but I knew her from like The Wedding Singer and 50 First Dates, kind of like more like romantic comedies, Adam Sandler specifically, but also just other stuff. She was in the periphery. This was an interesting way to do a cold open, but my question was like, was it obvious while you were watching this for the first time at 14 that
the killer,
this is what
killer?
Yeah, was it going to be dual killers? Was it going like the mystery?
No.
How did the mystery play out for you watching it for the first time back then?
The mystery, I think, was perfectly built, and I would like to say that it was very mature, but at my age watching it, I had no idea. Like they did a really good job at setting it up that Billy is your killer. No one, like we've already said, spoilers, no one thought about a second killer. I had never seen the idea of a second killer in a film.
And you wouldn't really expect Stu specifically. Like, yes, he's like wild and crazy, but like he's so lovable, and it's Matthew Lillard, and I love him so much. But you don't. I will say that a lot. I apologize. I am in love with that man. My partner
Me
is okay
too.
with it. It's fine.
Matthew Lillard is one of my favorite actors of all time.
Same.
And yeah, he's like nobody else could play Shaggy.
No.
Than Matt Lillard. But it makes so much sense. And this, I think, Jay, I've told you this, and I it's probably going to be a really big embarrassment on my part. But one of my favorite shows of all time is Dawson's Creek.
Aw.
I think,
yeah, I love Kevin Williamson. So we have Kevin Williamson who writes Scream and Scream 2. It gets a little dodgy as you get through, especially when you introduce Aaron Kruger in Scream 3. But like he did Scream, he did Dawson's Creek, he did Last Summer, he worked on One Tree Hill. He knows how to grasp teenage attention. And this is an adult film geared towards teens. And it got me. I think I was a little too young to watch this when I did, but it grabbed me. It grabbed me. And I didn't expect the thrills. I didn't expect the mystery. The twist, didn't even consider it. And I think that's why I went back and watched it so much. It floored me as a horror fan. And that's why it's one of my favorite movies. Yeah, like what hooked me, it's unlike anything I had ever seen up until that point.
Yeah. And I think even until now, like, there really isn't anything that's done quite that. Like, there have been, like, some things that have, like, obviously changed games in, like, different ways, but, like, it's still so uniquely its own thing. Like, the only other thing I can think of that kind of plays with those elements is, like, maybe, like, Cabin in the Woods kind of played with a little bit of that, like, meta-y stuff. But it's still completely different than what Scream is. Like you can't really capture that exact same thing again.
I agree. And where Scream acknowledged the tropes that they were revitalizing, I think Cabin in the Woods just expected you to know it. And
because you saw Scream already.
Yeah, exactly. Great point.
Yeah.
Cool.
But what about everyone else? Like what hooked you all on this?
I like meta stuff, and I've always been fascinated by the Jamie Kennedy character explaining the rules. I like the rule explanation, and that trope has gone on to be part of other things in pop culture and media. And I just like it when somebody looks right at you, basically, and says, "These are the rules." There's an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia that's like a musical. And there's a song in it where they're trying to figure out the rules of being turned black. And the song, What Are the Rules, just is so funny to me because it's like this ridiculous situation. But everybody wants to know, like, what are the rules in a Friday the 13th? They're very simple. Just, they lay them out pretty clearly in this movie. It's like, don't say I'll be right back. Don't lose your virginity. Like those kinds of things. Yeah. I'll be right back. Those kinds of things just captivate me. So that's my thing with Scream.
I fucking hate Scream. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Get out of here.
The worst franchise I ever saw. It took me a little while. I didn't actually, I was too scared. And then one day I started to binge watch like every horror franchise. And so I started watching Scream, and I liked that it was a continuous story, I think was the thing that I love. But I mean, the first one is obviously so well crafted. It's a pretty, in terms of like how to build a movie, it works from so many different angles, not just a slasher film. It works as a movie as well, which cannot be said for many Jason movies, many Freddy movies, many Chucky movies. They require so much other building in order for them to work successfully. But Scream works on its own. And by the time I got into it, every time a Scream movie would come out, I'd get excited because nothing is forgotten in Scream, which I kind of like as well. They try to do the same thing with the Halloween franchise, but they've rebooted it like 5 goddamn times now, so you never really know what timeline.
Halloween is 5 separate timelines, so I don't know.
And I forgot what I was going to say. I like it because it's heavy on the lore, and I like that kind of stuff. There's a sequence in the newest one where the killers basically make like a museum of all of the killers throughout, and I'm just like, it's dumb, but I think it's cool, and I'm like, this is a cool thing for them to do within this. I think it's fun and interesting. You don't have to like it, Ben. I'm not trying to convince you.
I know. No, it's like I went to the theater and saw it twice. Because
I had to go to a second time to make sure I actually hated it.
And no, it's not that I hated it. It's just like my favorite part of the Scream franchise is the mystery. And they do a really good job at making you second guess yourself and putting everybody as a potential red herring. And in that movie, the only logical explanation turned out to be the killers.
Yeah.
And
it makes you overthink it though so much that you're like, wait, am I being too smart about it? Am I like, it can't be that obvious because maybe this, you like want to deep dive, and it's like,
that being
right
said,
there.
though,
it's okay.
I can't even remember. I don't remember who the killer is in that movie. I've only seen it once.
Oh my god!
I just remember being like, I like the museum. That's cool. I like the death where they're like trying to cross a ladder between two buildings. That was cool.
That was great.
My brain didn't digest it the same way that I remember almost every single scene from the first Scream movie, and it's not that I've watched it 100,000 times. It's just that it's that good. And like you said, the mystery is the best part, and all of the thriller elements that they use to make you sort of feel like you're solving a mystery, they're present in it, and that's what makes it stick with me a little bit more. Because like I don't remember a ton of a lot of Scream movies, but I do remember almost this entire movie frame for frame.
By heart.
Yeah.
I think the thing too with like the first Scream movie, which is like mostly what we're talking about tonight, that like really got me, especially coming into it like pretty late. Not only did it still feel so modern, I think that's mostly because they made characters that seemed real, even though like a little bit absurd, a little bit turned up sometimes, but they're like real people. Like I believed it the entire time. But the horror elements are genuinely scary, and the rest of it has so much charisma that you just can't look away. Like you want to root for everyone. You want to find out what's happening. Like it immediately draws you into the world and says, you're actually part of this now too. And you're going to care. And a lot of horror movies don't spend the time to do that, to make those characters that like you remember and you think of and you want to do for your Halloween costume the next year, and like do like a little Easter egg moment, right? It's, I don't know.
I think charisma is an excellent word to use for what this movie does.
Yeah, I think that you can also say that it's rare for a movie to be able to enter the framework and have a long-running franchise in the way that this one does, and still have the first one truly be the best one. There's so many other long-running franchises where you can go through and pick through all of them, and not always is the first one still going to hold the title of best. You know, there's an argument to be made, I think, for Nightmare on Elm Street, but I know most people think that Dream Warriors is the best one, and you know what? I kind of maybe agree a little bit. But Scream, the first Scream, is the best Scream. I don't think that there is another Scream movie that comes close to what this one did in terms of having that staying power. But that's my opinion. I don't know, maybe like Saw 1 is like the best.
I
agree with you completely.
Yeah.
I love Saw 1, but I love all the Saw movies, but I love Saw 1. It's a chamber piece. I love it. It's so fun.
Yeah. But I mean,
it's my actor brain. I can't help it.
Yeah. My point being that like there wasn't really a Scream movie that came after this one that was as good as the first one. But I mean, you can have fun with them, but I don't think it's the best.
It's not the same.
Anyway, should we get into production talk? You guys want to talk about the production?
Let's do it.
All right.
All right. Quiet on set. Are we rolling? Okay, let's shoot this piece of shit.
Sound. Speed. Action!
Well, listen, this movie was made on a shoestring budget of $15 million and turned up $138 million, according to Wikipedia. So, sequel. I think that there's a lot to sort of dissect here, because this whole thing seems like Wes Craven was just looking for something new, and wanted to come up with a new killer. He basically found the Scream mask in a box of stuff in a garage. Craven, according to Bloody Disgusting, Craven allegedly said, "This is like the famous Scream painting," and the rest is history. I really enjoy the fact that moments later, this costume was a staple for Halloween. I think it still is to this day.
Still is.
They like to do large gaps between the movies, and that's great because it kind of goes away for a while and then comes back. And they're kind of actively working on finishing off a new trilogy here. And it's got the fourth one kind of floats in the middle as its own thing. But yeah, great, man. It's such a well-made film. It looks awesome even now. What do you guys have to say about the production of this? Kevin Williamson, like you said, wrote it, directed by Wes Craven.
Yeah.
It's got all of that in spades. So what do you guys have to say?
Well, I'll go right off here saying that like the ghost face mask was found while they were doing location scouting.
Yeah.
They found it in a house, and that just changed everything. If you go and look into the other ideas of the masks they were going to use, none of them have the same effect as what they found. But I think one of the most important parts of this movie when it comes to production for me is the locations, the houses they used. Sydney's house, Stu's house, two of the most important. They're absolutely stunning.
I was saying that it almost felt like the Beetlejuice house was just like over here, like just off frame. It's got that like these rolling hills of California. It almost feels like Encino, and all of the vistas that you see are just wood forest, but they're all above it, which is an interesting. It's almost like John Carpenter. It's like The Fog, those rolling shots at the beginning of The Fog.
That's my jam, man. You know this.
Yeah.
But
Sydney's house in particular really reminded me of the house from Practical Magic, and that just made my heart happy. Like there was something about like the way that the house was laid out, the way the stairs were. I was like, oh, I like that. Yeah. Cute. Wish I could live there. That sounds nice.
For me, I think it is very much a sort of 90s movie in terms of visuals. So like the cinematography, the lighting, and just the camera work in general, it's evolved since the end of the Freddy Krueger movies. I suppose New Nightmare is very similar in vibe when it comes to the visuals, and that's because it's what's his name? Mark Irwin, I think Mark Irwin. He's been working since the 80s, but and he filmed stuff for like Cronenberg and but those all have a very unique visual style as well. But when it comes to this, it's completely different from sort of the standardized stuff that we would get from like a Friday the 13th or a Freddy Krueger movie. Even though the Freddy Krueger movies, a lot of the time they have that sort of dreamlike element to them. There's something even to consider when it comes to horror movies that are made now compared to the visual style of this. When like Gale and Dewey are like running down that little patch of road.
So good.
You can tell that the whole forest is being blown up by floodlights. But I like being able to see the forest, and I like being able to see these beautiful vistas around them. I don't like just seeing the two of them in like a day for night shot where everything is murky and brown and you can't tell what the fuck you're looking at. Yeah. I don't care if it breaks the reality of the moment. I think it looks good and it looks nice. And like this movie doesn't do sort of these creepy, haunted, dark moments that are completely relying on the visual to make you scared. The tension, the tone, everything about it is what's scary. It doesn't necessarily have to be visually intimidating or frightening.
A lot in the action, like they use action and daylight to be like this is, except for obviously the opening, which has like a bit more like of the light and dark play. But
there are entire moments, horrifying moments in this movie that take place in the middle of the fucking day in a crowded high school.
Yeah.
That's still frightening and effective.
And it's I think too, sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead, Stephen.
That's okay. I'm done saying what I was going to say.
I was going to touch on that because it's really interesting to do this in the light of day. And I think also going from, I was talking to Jason about this last night, but going from a majority of horror being something that's fantastical or paranormal or a monster or a zombie or someone possessed to having it be like a true crime horror film. Like everything is set so in reality. And I think that adds to that level of like, oh God, like that is a high school and that just happened. And that is like in the middle of the day in someone's house and they're being attacked. Like there's like that element of thrill in it as well, which I really like.
Well, the franchise really never does paranormal. It does do the thing where it's like, they can take a lot of damage and they always like escape, but that's just a horror trope where you look away for a minute and they disappear, which, it happens in Halloween and in Friday the 13th, but those are like zombie men, like, Michael Myers is a demon essentially, and Jason is a zombie. So that's paranormal shit. But this is very true to life. Like the true crime element of it, I think, is what captivates me a lot. And the weapon being just a knife most of the time.
A cool looking knife too.
And he always does this with the knife, which is so cool. Like it's just cool. It just feels hip.
Yeah.
What a hip
I'm 40
in your knife. What is so
hip cat over here.
I was reading through Mark Irwin's filmography, and this is how out of it I am right now. He worked on a bunch of Freddy Krueger movies and Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and then down the list it says Freddy Got Fingered, and I'm like, which Nightmare on Elm Street is that again?
It's a porno, I'm assuming.
And then I realized that it's not. I'm gonna say Daddy, about three seconds. Sausage? There's about 3 seconds where I thought it was a Freddy Krueger movie. He also did the scary movies.
I would like to ask this of all of you, because this is something I was thinking about today, and it kind of saddened me in that, like, I love this movie so much, but as things went on, as more sequels came out, did you find that everything was cheapened because it didn't turn into what's the next scare? It was everyone just trying to sit back and think about who the killer was or the killers were. You didn't really care about what was happening on screen. You were just looking for the clues. And I found as the movies went on, that's what happened. And I started enjoying them less and less.
Okay. For me, it's like the what are the rules element of it that I liked. And it sort of starts to focus more on that because the people in the know of horror, like in the second one, they're like, it's a sequel now. Here's the rules of the sequel. And the third one, it's the trilogy. So we got to end the story. The fourth one is like, what about re-sequels? And then reboot and franchise, So those are, they really focus hard on that. And the who done it element is still there, but you're right. It kind of takes a back seat to it just being a Grimoire of Familiar Killers thing, where it's like who's the killer, but what fantastical way are they going to reveal themselves? And you're right, it is like it just becomes about like how do we get to the end, and there's always some big set piece at the end.
Exactly. After the second movie, it wasn't fresh. It was a retread, and now we've got 7 coming out soon. So.
But over the course of over the course of 30 years.
30 years, that's true. Yeah.
I think they made 7 Freddy movies in 1 year at that time.
Something like that.
Yeah. Good point. Good point.
I also will say, like, I as somebody who's kind of new to all of this, I've only seen the first 2 because I got through the second one, and there was a part of me will go through and watch the rest of them. And I'm totally okay with spoilers as we talk about this. I know the territory I'm entering into. I'm totally consenting to spoilers. That's fine. But I got through the second one and I had a really good time with it. And I think there was just something about enjoying them that I was like, I'm really scared that the other ones aren't going to be as good. So I'm kind of like okay to sit in this space of mostly 1 and a little bit of 2 and like enjoy that for longer, because other people got that for many years. I just started a couple of years ago, so I'm gonna sit with it and then I'll continue my journey. But even like with 2, like 2 was fun and it was about mystery, but that cast in the first one, like you can't compete with that. You can't make that magic again. They were just so good together. The chemistry was on fire. Crazy.
I don't really hold these types of franchises up to any kind of pedestal that I can't enjoy them based on anything other than what they are, which is like they essentially became just slasher movies. And to me, the point was to try and figure it out as you go and to recognize the red herrings when they come. So that's part of the fun for me.
Yeah.
I do like when they have an interesting kill, because that's also part of it. You know, this movie, I guess the most interesting kill is probably the garage door, but you know, each movie has something that tries to outdo the last movie in some capacity. And I do like the sort of the opening sort of cold opens where somebody dies in a horrific way, right? Like the second movie is it Jada Pinkett Smith, I think. Is that right?
Yes.
And
Omar Epps.
Yeah, and she gets killed like in the movie theater in front of a million people, which is like, that's really cool and an interesting thing to do. Those kind of became like those Ghostbustery openings are the things that I started to look forward to in Scream movies, and then recognizing after that, I'm like, time to try and figure out who done it, and like that's what I like about them. So it didn't make it less enjoyable. I do think that having that be sort of the job of the movie is probably pretty taxing on them as well, to have to kind of go through and make it so that every single person is sinister at one point. We've got to shoot this person sinisterly during this scene so that we can at least have a little bit of shade cast upon them that will let the audience will maybe think that they're the bad guy. It's got to be annoying to make these movies. Be like, how do we make everybody look like the villain at some point?
The casting call is like, I need you to be so charming, and then I need you to be so evil, and those are your two sides.
Yeah, and you have to. And it's the same scene.
But Stephen, I think you're right that is the lifeline of the franchise.
Yeah,
and like that's what people are looking for. And with like Scream 3, it's unlike any other movie in the franchise. And
that's the one where they're like making the movie, right? Like
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's also a PG-13 because like it was coming out right after Columbine, so they had to make it less violent. So it doesn't really fit in the franchise, if you ask me.
I think that's the first one I saw in theater, or I might have seen it on like VOD when it came out, like within the year or whatever. But I definitely saw that one close to when it came out. And then the fourth one I definitely saw. I've seen all of them in theaters since, except for the one that came out close to 2002, I think, was the first one of like the reboot or whatever, the first of the legacy sequels, I guess. Anyway, yeah, I don't think I found it less enjoyable for that aspect. If anything, I think that's what kind of kept me coming back. So, yeah.
Great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, well, outside of that, I've got some notes about the boots and the knife, but that's not really interesting.
Was that from last night when we were watching it?
No.
Just writing down boots, knife, notes.
According to people.com, they didn't wash Sydney's clothes. They just made her more wet to get the blood effect going again. The thing with Rose McGowan, Tim's character, and the garage door scene, like there was some problems with trying to like fit her through the doggy door, so they they had to like nail the shirt in place so the body wouldn't flop out. That's obviously when it was like the mannequin. They also shot that overnight in a real garage. just little things like that. The mask, the original mask is called the Peanut-Eyed Ghost. It's something different in the movie. I have a trivia question for Steven and Ben when we get to that point.
Is the trivia cat question, what was your nickname in high school? And the answer is Peanut-Eyed Ghost.
Yes.
Correct.
Nailed it.
Yes. The cast lived in remote locations for parts of the shoot. They were all pals, which is really interesting. But yeah, sound design's great. There's some good music in it of the era.
The soundtrack is good.
Soundtrack's good.
I own it on CD, same as Scream 2.
Yeah, it's some bangers.
Absolutely amazing. Kids in America, Youth of America, sorry, and like
the slowed down version of Fear the Reaper, also great.
Yeah, and I think it was the first time I ever heard "Red Right Hand" by Nick Cave, which is one of my all-time favorite songs.
They really play that song too. Like it's like fully like we are playing this song and driving up, and it's badass. It's very cool.
And if you want to talk music too, Dewey's theme that pops up later on in the franchise. The first time I ever saw that was, I think, a year after this. It was 97. It was Broken Arrow with John Travolta and Christian Slater. And they used it over and over again, but it was from Scream, and it completely caught me off guard. But Jace, did you have any info on Roger Jackson?
I don't see Roger Jackson here. Tell me more.
He was the voice of Ghostface on the phone.
Well, that's who it was. We were talking about this last night. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, this is something. Is he the In a World guy of the era?
No, he's not at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a completely different person, but they never let any of the cast meet him. Mm-hmm. So they were always talking to a stranger on the phone. With no idea of who they were talking to. And I love that. Like, that is forced method acting, even if you're not ready for it. I think it's brilliant.
The other thing on that too is that, like, when Jason and I were watching last night, because I couldn't remember the name, but I was like, I know that the voice of this is another person. Mm-hmm. And it's really interesting because as we were playing the Who's Doing This Kill, we were also playing the game of who's on the other side of that phone right now. Is it Stu or is it Billy? Because sometimes there are moments where it's like, it sounds more of like a Stu, like intonation or like melody wise. And other times it's very much like, that's definitely Billy. And I'm like, this voice acting is so cool. I don't know if I'm putting like too much on top of what was there, but like, I feel like they just nailed it.
Yeah, they completely nailed it. Like, this was really well thought out, and it adds to the film as a whole. Like, great catch.
Yeah, very, very cool. One of my favorite games to play.
I feel like I ran away with that. Sorry.
No, it's solid.
That's a good piece of trivia. I was actually curious about that. I really like the idea of Wes Craven just like looking at where to shoot the movie and then finding this mask, because it's this there's a bunch of licensing problems with using an already existing IP, right, made by Fun World in the Fantastic Faces line in the early 90s, according to Slash Film. So that's cool.
Just love when it's like faded, like during the discovery process of trying to make something, like something just falls into your lap that's so perfect. Like, this is meant to be. It's amazing.
He's in so many video games.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm just looking at his
true story.
Doing some Google.
Every movie.
I was in Dead Space and Dead Space 2 as creature vocalizations.
Oh, sick. Just
You're
like that.
So good at that voice. God.
It's very good.
Well, should we talk about the body of the episode?
The body, yaddy, yaddy.
Yaddy, yaddy, yaddy.
The body of the episode.
He has legs.
I was just going to say, legs for days. Okay.
So we're going to break down the movie now. We're going to go through it kind of scene by scene. We know this movie very well because we've all seen it 1,000 times.
Yay!
We kind of already talked about the opening sequence with Drew Barrymore. Basically, she gets a call on the phone while she's making some Jiffy Pop. I really like the line where he's like, "What's your favorite scary movie?" And she's like, "I don't know. I guess A Nightmare on Elm Street." He's like, "The guy with knives for fingers?" Yes, Freddy. That one was scary.
The first one was, and the rest of them sucked. Like, just so good.
It's always
so
fun
good
when a director is like shits on his own stuff sometimes. Like, the rest of them are crap. I think it's like after watching that opening sequence, I watched it today.
It's so good
on my computer, and at the end of that sequence, I went, "That's a strong opening." I said that to no one, just out loud to the very empty room.
I think it's one of the best openings of all time. I will say that and stand by it. Like, that whole opening scene sets the tone so well. Like both the comedy aspect of it, the fact that it's like we'll make light of things. This is like a Wes Craven movie, and yes, we're also going to be poking fun. It is going to be meta, and also you want to see somebody like get gutted like a fish, like we can do that too, and that's all in set the scene. So good.
It hits so hard, like more than any horror opening, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right down to like Jiffy Pop being like an actual clock that as tension's rising, it's getting bigger and starting to steam and smoke and pop and break and catch fire as everything is coming to a culmination. But even like Craven trying to capture all of Barrymore's emotions, and when she couldn't cry hard enough or act terrified enough, he would just tell her stories about people abusing puppies and killing puppies. And she's such a massive animal activist that she just started bawling her eyes out. And he's like, roll camera.
Yeah, I think they did talk about it beforehand because like they had like had this whole thing, and like he would literally just like give her those cues of like talking about it. She'd be like, I hate this. Exactly. But like this, honestly, that can be some really good directing, depending on the actor, obviously, and like if they're cool with it. Some people really work that way, some people don't. But like that is a crazy tactic to use, and it does work.
The little musical stings as they mention the movies that they're talking about is really cool. Like they mention Halloween, you hear the ding 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 ding, but it fades back into the score, which I thought was really interesting. I like that. So I always kind of make this joke about this movie that the big moment is like her shows her boyfriend all beaten up and he's tied up on the chair outside, and she's like gonna go out, but then she like closes the door and locks it again. She's got a little bit of like has seen horror movies, so she knows. But then when he's like, we're gonna play a game, and the joke I always think to myself is the game is like it ends up being who's the killer in Friday the 13th, and in the first one it's Jason Voorhees' mom. But I always think it's funny to be like it's like what's your favorite scary movie? And she's like, Nightmare on Elm Street. And he's like, no, actually, it's A Nightmare on Elm Street. I always think of that, which would be a funny, like, scary movie moment to lampoon that idea. But I really like that later in the movie, it's like you win, you lose, you lose, you lose. So she was screwed no matter what during the sequence.
The thing that really hit me was when he goes, is his name Steve? And I'm like, that's my name.
I think I did say that last night. I was like, it's Steve.
They say Steve and Jason almost in the same sentence.
I know.
During that
made
scene
for you
too.
guys.
So, hey, did you see this one?
His name isn't Steve.
That's probably why you also couldn't watch it as a kid. You were like, you heard your name in it too, and you were like, oh no, it's too close to home.
Yeah. I also lived in a giant mansion on top of a hill.
Yeah, stained glass windows for some reason. And your parents are never home.
Yeah.
The scene sort of culminates with her almost getting away. I
she
think
put up a fight, man.
I love the idea that Ghostface is a normal person. Cass, you made a good point last night. That was like he's a real person with real adrenaline. So like he's being fought by another person of like similar size. So he's not just going to keep coming. If he gets kicked in the fucking head, he's going to
rear back. And I think that's the thing too. Like
they're like teenage boys. You know?
Exactly. They're teenage boys running on adrenaline. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to fumble, but they're like, they are strong because they have that like drive in that moment, so they can overcome it and bounce back.
They're getting fucked up by beer bottles and stuff.
Yeah, like they're also kids.
Yeah, they're little kids. Yeah. Imagine if a 16-year-old boy came at you and you just punched him right in the face. He probably wouldn't get back up immediately, no matter how much adrenaline was going through him. Yeah,
I've never been punched in the face like that before.
Also, the amount of times they do pratfalls and stuff is hilarious. Like she'll just like slide and then he does like a Looney Tunes flip over her. Like,
good. I find usually, I guess, that those like kills specifically are more stew based. Because I'm like, when it's like extra goofy and like kind of like falling over himself, I'm like, that's Stu. And when it's a bit more like calculated, even if like there are other things going on or they get a bit more beat up, I'm like, I don't know. You can tell physicality wise. Maybe that's just me. hypothetically.
You also, like, anytime they go after somebody that is not a small, petite girl, they kill them immediately. They don't chase them around. They're not having fun with it. They slit the cameraman, for example, he slits his throat instantly. He doesn't fuck around with that guy because he's like, this guy might actually be able to manhandle me, so I should just kill him immediately. Same with the principal. He stabs him right away. You know, he doesn't chase him around a house first. So I think that they're also aware of their limitations, which is kind of cool. And I think anytime that they are running around and things are hitting them and they're falling over, there's probably an element to it that they're like, I'm going to scare them as much as I can before I actually kill them because I want to have fun here. This is me having fun. Yeah.
And then, of course, as she runs out into the yard, her shirt flies off, and then the sprinklers start going, and then it goes in slow motion.
That's the wrong movie.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, but she does run out. She almost makes it away, but
so sad.
What was really interesting about this scene, I noticed on this viewing especially, when he holds her down to like slit her throat, she pulls the mask off. Yeah. So in her dying moments, she knows who the killer is, which I was like, that's awesome. What a great like moment to realize that. I didn't like really, you know, sometimes you watch movies over and over and it takes a few viewings to really like see what's happening.
Or like digest like certain moments.
Yeah. So after that great, go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, sorry, no, just to add more like levity to the point you're talking about, or not levity, gravity really, is as she's taking the mask off, it's not like a swipe and it comes off. She slowly grabs a hold of it and like drags it down to see who's killing her, and like the terror and sadness on her face sells this scene so hard. Like you've given up your heart to this character, and after that look on her face, you're devastated.
It's heartbreaking.
Exactly. And then you get what happens afterwards.
You're that dweeb from calculus. She doesn't even know he is.
Kevin. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm watching the movie before this recording. Did anyone watch like the theatrical cut or the uncut version?
I think we probably watched the theatrical.
Yeah. I've watched it on Netflix and we watched it on I think Amazon, and they were the same.
So. So I watched the uncut one. Again, like my history of this movie, like I try and buy everything I can, every version of it. I've given seminars about it at Dalhousie.
I love
that. There is in the uncut one, like the scene of her, the shot of Drew Barrymore hanging from the tree. They hold on it. It's not just a quick shot and then they do the quick zoom and like shift. They hold on it, and then it's the rush zoom, and you see so much more. It's so much more effective.
I think that's the one I watched today.
Yeah. It's surprisingly good and very moving.
Yeah, because I think I may have only ever seen the other version, because when I was watching it today, I'm like, I don't remember them showing that much. Like I remember it just being like a snap zoom from the mom screaming.
It just shows,
And
and
even still in the snap zoom version of it, it's still like very, very impactful. It's like, oh my God. But like I can imagine having that like lingering moment can just be like 10 times more effective.
During my first viewing ever, this is about the time that I was like, I think I'm going to go play F-Zero racing.
Yeah. This isn't for me.
I was and then as I turned it on, I heard her like, her insides were on the outside. And I was like, oh, yes, they were. I saw it was gross.
I had a similar thing as a kid with Darkman, where all the kids got together. It's not even that bad of a movie, but it's still like
it's pretty rough, dude.
And I remember like some stuff happens at the beginning, and I was like, I'm gonna go into the other room now. You guys have fun. I'm gonna go play action figures by myself. And I could hear it from the other room in a similar way to what Steven is describing, where it's just like I'm still horrified, and I'm trying not to listen. So I fully get what you mean, Steve. In the next sequence, Billy shows up to Sydney's bedroom through the window. We get the first introduction of the idea of like the two doors that if she opens one, the dad can't get in.
Which is awesome.
He's trying to get in her pants.
He's so gross.
He is so gross.
He's so gross.
He is really
and
gross.
I do not like this man. This not Johnny Depp man. Very close.
He looks like Johnny Depp. Also.
I was watching this a couple of days ago as well, like kind of like casually before Jason came over, and my partner was watching it with me, and he was like, "Oh, look, it's the killer, Shaggy, and not Johnny Depp." I'm like, it's very funny. But like the way he manipulates Sydney after like her going through so much trauma and like trying to like do anything to get in her pants, every time I'm like,
and you don't even really get it. You don't get it right away. He's already gross, and then like the more you learn about her life, the even grosser he becomes. Where you're like, man, this guy is disgusting. I started calling him Sloppy Depp after that. I was like, this guy's Sloppy Depp. The nasty.
It's such a plot point too with the meta stuff to like get her to lose her virginity, because in his head he like.
He's so in the like movie moment of it.
Final girl has to lose her virginity, or else I can't kill her or go after her or whatever. So it's a good element. He is gross though.
It's gross.
So they have that moment. He leaves. The next day at school, we get start a little bit of the rules from Jamie Kennedy, mostly just introducing his character as like the nerd. We meet Stu as well during this.
We also learned that the dad is going to leave for some sort of convention or whatever for like a weekend.
Yeah.
So
Which
she's
is
going to
important.
be alone. Yeah.
And also, like, to be fair, I understand, like, maybe single parent now and like going through a lot, and like you have a conference coming up, but to like leave your teenage daughter at home on the anniversary of her mom's death, like, dude, maybe try to figure out a way to reschedule or something. Like, that's rough.
It's also crazy that Liev Schreiber is just in this movie as a guy getting put into the back of a cop car, like on the TV.
He's such a huge part of the next two movies too.
Yeah, but he was like, I'm pretty sure he was a nobody at this point.
I don't think he was a nobody. I think he was more than a guy being put in the back of a cop car kind of thing. I think he was in stuff, you know. But I could be wrong. But I feel
also love that they gave him Billy's haircut. Yeah. Like, that's just so funny. And like, of course you would think that that's the guy. He has the same haircut.
Yeah.
It's the guy you saw leaving.
Hair. The Heath Ledger from the Dark Knight level of grit and slime in your hair.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I just to like kind of go back for a hot second to like this introduction of our band of crazy teens. Like it's the first time especially, but even like on a rewatch, it really does feel like you're getting an inside scoop on like your heroes, like who you're supposed to root for. And obviously as the movie goes on, like there's much more of that like push and pull of like, can we trust everybody? I don't know. But this opening piece of them like hanging out before class and goofing around and having like a bit of fun, you expect that like those are the people you're about to just fall in love with, and hopefully they all don't die. And it's very, very well handled. I like it.
Right.
Yeah. Looking up Liev Schreiber, you were right. He has been in numerous movies. I think the movie before this that he was in was Ransom. So he was around. I just didn't know him.
Yeah. I was going to say, because like he's been around for a while. He's not a young man, but yeah. Even just before, mostly television and like TV movies and stuff. But yeah.
I only really knew him from Sabretooth and Wolverine Origins, and then he's on that show, or was on that show. I thought he had a British, like an accent. I thought he was Irish.
Probably because you saw Kate and Leopold.
Possibly.
Forgot about that movie.
Isn't he like a time traveler? He like invents like a time traveling device to bring.
That's Hugh Jackman. So Hugh Jackman and Liev Schreiber worked together right around the same time in both movies, I guess, which is interesting.
Yeah, he's like, remember Kate and Leopold? This is now. Let's fight about it.
Yeah. Let's have clause that we can retract and subtract. No. So at the school, also Gail and her crew of the media show up because she's always looking for a scoop. That whole school sequence is just kind of like you said, being introduced to all the characters, and then like that night, Sydney gets the call, the "What's your favorite scary movie?" call, and she straight up fights Ghostface during this sequence. Like,
she's
not
so ballsy, like to go outside too, to be like, fight me. I've been through enough. Like, I dare you.
Yeah.
I like her. She's cool.
And she does the two-door trick to Ghostface during this. She calls 911 with a computer, which I thought was interesting. I wanted to ask you guys, like, I'm sure it's possible to use your computer to call 911, but like it's never been advertised to me in my whole life. It's one of those of the era, almost like the net, where it's like we have the capability to do it, so let's show it in a movie. This internet thing is brand new.
I think it's also to show, like, in the uncut version, like the like Nightmare on Elm Street address that she types in. To be like, this is where I live.
It also shows her like using her computer and stuff. Like, I think she's supposed to be a little bit of a fucking nerd, similar to the net. But if you asked me to call the internet police right now, I wouldn't know how to do it.
Yeah, if I Google 911, will they come?
Yeah, if you also want to go back to the net, I don't think you can really actually order a pizza from pizza.com.
Aww.
You know what? Let's try it.
I'll test it.
I can definitely order a pizza from Domino's.com.
Pizza.com is just a porn website, guys.
I loved the idea of the bedroom door and the closet door.
Me too.
Like but they actually had to build that closet so it would work.
That's cool.
They were saying, I don't know if I mentioned before or not, but like between the rental of the house, which was for sale at the time, and the amount of repairs they had to make after they destroyed it, they may as well just bought the house.
Right.
I can imagine. I have a question for you guys based off of that kind of thing. If we're playing the game, who do we think did this? Question mark. Who was the attacker in this scene? In this first scene?
It was Stu.
It had to be Stu because Billy shows up.
It has to be, right? Yeah. And also, not only does he show up, but Billy would have also known that trick with the door.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
And when Billy shows up in this next moment, do you guys think the cell phone falling out of his pocket was full on an accident that, like, you know, or was it like what was the point of that?
Or was it like an extra try to scare?
Well, but him being that's a good point actually. But
like
was
manipulation game?
Was it him being a dumb teenager and he just let his guard down and the phone falls out, or what Cass is saying, where he did it purposely to sort of spin this web? Because I don't know. I personally don't know.
There's two reasons for it. One, I think it was an accident, and it makes her question what he's doing. But I think more than that, it's to make us really consider what's going on with Billy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't make sense if the killer was just outside her door and he climbs up through the window.
Couldn't quick change that fast.
Exactly. They do this a lot. And it's
because we're used to one killer, and this is part of why I was asking you this, Ben. Like, you probably went into this movie pre-programmed from 80s and early 90s horror to be like, there's one slasher. There's one slasher. Yeah. Why would there be two slashers? That freaks my bean, man. I don't even know how to quantify that or qualify it.
I love that reaction.
Yeah.
I just haven't heard you use that phrase ever before, Jason, and I was like, well, excuse me? Okay.
Like, I was flicking my bean and I can't even quantify any of this.
All of a sudden, people are dropping phones and coming through windows.
That phone dropped.
That's how I sound when I talk too. So perfect one-to-one impression. Thank you, guys.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but then our boy Dewey shows up, ripped as all hell, acting like a child man, but looks great. David Arquette was a huge star for a hot second. I would like to say
he has the one moment in this movie that made me laugh out loud. Like, the cigarette smoking and ice cream was good.
Yeah.
It's good.
But the best moment in the entire movie that made me legitimately choke on whatever I was drinking was when he goes up to the phone after everyone calls him down and he sees the phone's there and he squints at it and he picks it up and he goes, hello. Like he's trying to put on a tough guy voice and then it just cuts away the next scene. Oh my
Love
God.
it.
But like Gail also shows up during the sequence as well. I think that just as an aside, I think David Arquette got too into wrestling shortly after this, and then got too into like Hollywood is a fucking cesspool, and he never really reached the heights. You know, he didn't go get a TV show like Scott Conn did after Ready to Rumble.
Yeah, I think he did all right though. I think he's still in Scream movies to this day. Or I guess his character died recently in one of them, didn't he? I don't know.
Spoilers.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
I can't remember.
Pops up in another one.
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah.
He gets stabbed in like 4 different movies and survives a lot of it. We'll leave it at that. But Gail Ever the Opportunist shows up. Billy gets arrested, and they ask where the costume is. At the police station.
What's up, Steven? Sorry. I feel like Steven was trying to say something. Were you trying to say something?
No, I just put candy in my mouth.
He's eating.
I was though.
Oh, I wasn't looking. Sorry, Ben.
That's fine. No, that's okay. I understand.
Looking in the wrong direction. I'm also painting my nails, so that's on me.
Me too,
so much unprofessionality.
I know.
Question that I had for Leah today, and I really wanted to ask all of you this. Courteney Cox, really at this point only known for Friends. Did this benefit her at all, this role? Or do you think, like, I like her more as Gail than in Friends, but
I think
I don't think it really did more for her.
Retrospectively, Courteney Cox is mostly known for sitcoms. She did Friends for like a decade, and then did Cougar Town for like a decade, and it was in some movies here and there, but you really only know her from movies from Scream. So I think this was her attempt at crossing over, but I think that if this all happened 10 years later, she would have been a huge movie star, right? Like if this happened in the mid 2000s, she'd be a huge movie star because the crossover is much easier, and you cross back to TV now. Like that's something, you're a bit, you can be Sir Anthony Hopkins for Christ's sake and be on a TV show, and it's fine. Back then, you didn't really go back and forth. You were either a TV person or a movie person. Her attempt at movies, arguably one of the best horror franchises of all time, but you don't really hear about her other roles. You just know her from Friends.
Every single one of them Friends tried to get into the movie biz, and only one of them pulled it off. And David Schwimmer later in his career, I think, was more successful as
mostly Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, he's like a director person
behind the camera. And Matthew Perry had a pretty big run.
Let's not forget about the whole 9 yards and the whole 10 yards.
Yeah, and the whole 12 yards. But he had like a pretty big run of comedies, and then Jennifer Aniston was, I think, the biggest one. Lisa Kudrow lesser so, and Joey was in that one fucking the space
baseball monkey movie.
Yeah, Lost in Space.
He was in Lost in Space, and he was in Monkey. Not Monkey.
Was it Ed?
Ed, yeah.
It was a chimpanzee baseball movie.
Yeah.
See, I thought you were talking about Lost in Space because it's in space and there's a weird space monkey in it. So I thought you were talking about
no, I never even saw that.
He does his best work opposite a monkey.
Yeah. I'd be really curious.
In Friends as well.
Get out of here.
Anyway, the point that I'm making is that none of them made it into like a big movie that was like considered, like prestigious. They all tried, but at the same time, 8 years after Friends started, they were getting like $1 billion an episode per person or whatever. So I don't think it was after a while pressing for them.
David Schwimmer was in the HBO straight to television movie Breast Men about the history of breast implants. So if you want to talk to me about him not having a prestigious career, well, you would be absolutely correct.
Aren't all HBO movies straight to television?
Yeah.
True. Touche. No, I would be curious to like see.
She was in Masters of the Universe. I forgot about that.
She was also in a Bon Jovi music video, I think. Or no,
David Schwimmer?
No, Courteney Cox.
No, I'm curious to see like what her intention was, because I know she fought for this role. Like she wanted this role, and I don't know about like whether it was good or bad for her career per se, but I wonder if it was maybe more of like an actor choice of like, I like this and I want to like kind of stretch my legs and do something and like, you know, practice my chops, like see what I could do. And then sorry, go ahead.
She may have had the foresight to realize that like Wes Craven is a man who creates franchises that could potentially like roll into the tens of thousands of years of work for me, you know, like who knows? And it did. She's still in these fucking Scream movies 30 years later, so she was right.
Yeah, it could be. I think like I'd be curious to like if I ever met Courteney Cox, I would be like, how much of this was like for career and how much of this was like for your own like wants of wanting to do it, because I think it really can go both ways, but I'm sure that there is like a little bit of wiggle room on like the scale of that for each choice.
I mean, also in terms of the script, like her character is, I think, a little bit more interesting than most of the other characters in the movie. Like she has a lot more going on.
Definitely.
And when it comes to like showing off your acting chops as a performer, like even just that, she's got a lot more interesting stuff to work with. So could be that she just wanted to do it because it looked fun.
But even as a legacy character, like going into the sequels, as soon as she pops up, you're like, oh, thank God, because there's always something more to build with Gail's character as opposed to Sydney. Sorry.
What's interesting about the third movie? Sorry, Cass. I thought you were gonna watch the movie, so I didn't tell you this last night. But the third movie is like a side quest, and it's kind of a Dewey and Gale movie, which was interesting in its own right. But it detracts from the main story, but it also finishes the first trilogy. So I think that's where she got to be kind of the main character, but in these first two, her showing up is a cool ripple in the story, because especially in this first one, I noticed she's always there, so she could be the killer.
And she is always conflict. Like she constantly causes conflict, which is
Sid punches her in the fucking head. She's actively writing a book about Sid's mom's rape and murder. And they have a point of contention on that, obviously. So it's a good character, and it's a great foil. She's kind of the foil of the movie, and she's kind of the foil of the franchise, because whenever she shows up, you're like, oh, what opportunistic thing is she going after this time for just herself?
But she's also like, she's both right and also like the worst. Like to harass a young girl who like lost her mom is like the worst, grossest thing I've ever seen. But she wasn't wrong that, you know, maybe you got the wrong person.
She wasn't wrong, but she's pathetic. Like everything she does is
that's a good point.
Vile. She's literally getting into a verbal argument where she's being verbally abusive to a teenage girl.
Don't be that person.
She's calling a teenage girl's mom a whore, basically. Like, your mom was a freaking slut.
To her face.
And you're like, holy moly, lady. Yeah. She deserved that punch for sure. But whether she was right or not, the sucker punch was 100% deserved. Yeah. And I like that she gets to shoot somebody at the end. You know, that's kind of cool too. That like she may be pathetic and vile and opportunistic and a piece of shit, but at the end of the day, she's kind of the hero.
She's kind of the hero of the first movie. So just to get back to the main plot a little bit, when they're in the police station, this is a piece of trivia that I noticed watching last night with Cass. I've already said it to Cass, so you're disqualified, unfortunately.
That's okay.
But do you guys know when they hold up the costume? Okay. Do you know what the costume is called?
Father Death.
Okay. Well,
I knew you would know immediately.
Okay.
You were like, how much do you want to bet that immediately it's done? Yeah. It's good though. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Also, Ben, in this pretty much this scene that we're talking about now, I don't know if I was just high on flu medication, but was that Linda Blair, the first reporter?
It was Linda Blair, yeah, the reporter.
Crazy.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Linda Blair was the little girl from The Exorcist, and I was like, "Is that Linda Blair all grown up?" Being like, "Who was the killer?" I don't. What did she ask? She yelled something crazy, and then they're like, "Get away!"
People have the right to know.
Yeah, people have the right to know.
Lil Reagan comes back
Yeah.
unpossessed.
It's the same character too. It is.
Yeah, it's in the universe. It's in universe.
Full canon.
So when you said there's no
like,
paranormal activity in the Scream franchise,
you know
Jason,
what? You're right.
wrong. It takes place.
Take
in the
it back.
Universe. Yeah.
Spoofed
Exorcist herself
perfectly
is there.
in Scary Movie by Sherry O'Terry.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And also, if you're looking for another parody, Shriek If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th.
Oh my god.
Which I have seen.
Oh, I've heard of that one. Is it good?
No.
No.
But like a fun time, like bad fun time.
Well,
one of the leads is Tom Arnold.
yeah.
So,
Got it.
Is it even
Okay.
the same guys that made like Epic Movie and those
I think
ones?
so, yeah.
Okay.
That.
So
Yeah.
at least it's the spin-off of the Wayans brothers, that those guys that kept making the scary movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many like bad mashup like Not Another Teen Movie, like bad mashup parody things.
Yeah,
where it didn't
Epic
it
movie.
stopped being like, because scary movie, the first couple of them have actual plot.
They have plot, yeah.
And they're actually
Movies
funny. Like
stop.
they're slapstick and like silly, but like they still have a lot of like smart humor to it. Like it's not completely just for the dumb
They
moment.
just were a series of references. Like they're not even like movies at that point. It's just like, remember this from fucking Juno? Remember how Juno was pregnant?
Yeah, and then
she's
Iron
just there
Man
for
shows
some-
up and like punches her in the stomach or something, and a baby flies out. And
That's crazy.
Kicks her like 300. It goes
yeah,
like 300
exactly.
mode.
Pretty sure all that probably happened. And the guy says, "This is Sparta" or whatever, and kicks.
Yeah, exactly.
Iron Man kicks her in her. Yeah. But I mean, like I've been seeing, I think Regina Hall's been doing promotion for a movie recently, and because there's the new scary movies coming out, they keep asking her questions about the new scary movie, and she's like, I'm really just excited to see where Brenda is now in life.
She dies.
She dies in all, or she dies in most of them. Yeah. And it's like the last time we saw Brenda, she was like a school teacher, and I don't know how she ended up there. So who knows what she's doing now?
Oh, Brenda.
Yeah,
Which
but
is
I think
love her.
I mean, Brenda is probably my favorite character out of the scary movie franchise. She has the best lines, like in the second movie when she's like, "Cindy, that's a skeleton. Would you run away from Callista Flockhart?" she like rearranges the skeleton. She's like, "Look, he's crazy now." And then and the other one, she's like, "Cindy, the TV is leaking."
Her comedic timing is actual gold.
There's like a famous fight between Brenda and I think like the Ring girl.
Same scene.
There's two wrestlers who did that full choreography during a match on like
Love
Monday Night Raw.
that.
Which, we're probably never going to do the scary movies on this show, but I wanted to bring that up because it's, it's an interesting thing. Also, we talked about Gail getting punched in the face.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of the next thing that happens here. She's pressing way too hard. Sid fucking rocks her.
Yeah.
And they go home, and Sid gets a call again while Billy's in custody. So now you're going, whoa.
Who could it be then?
What the heck?
Yeah.
We see on live TV, Cotton. What's his name?
Weaver,
Leaf Schreiber's character.
Was it Cotton Weaver or something like that?
Yeah. But muted.
Sorry, it's Cotton Weary.
Weary.
He's shown on.
We
the
don't
TV
need Google. We've got Ben. It's okay.
Yeah. He's the alleged rapist. We're gonna find out more about him in the later movies, and we find out that Gail is writing a book about the killer, and Sid's mom, and that's why she's trying to get more info.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the next day at school, they're like, fucking Ghostface madness is hit. There's a guy running through the hallways dressed as Ghostface, which always irked me. And this whole franchise does this. It's kind of like Haddonfield. Like it's kind of like the later Halloween movies where on Halloween people dress like Michael Myers, which I think that's the callback.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so unsettling that these murders have happened over the last week and people are like, hilarious. Look, I found the costume. I'm dressed as it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think last night when I was watching it with Jason, I looked at you and I was like, the kids are not all right.
No.
I was like, this is so like accurate to like how even like today, like the same stuff happens where it's like tragedy or whatever, like in the world, and then immediately like you see like memes the next day. Now, some of them I find funny, but some of them I don't, and it depends on the situation. But I will like it always happens. Like there will always be the opportunity to make light or to use something to say, oh, I can scare people too. Like that's just weirdly human nature. People do it all the time.
Yeah, and Billy's there too. Billy's just back in school also. And we get a little bit of a jump scare where she's like, fuck, why is there a person dressed like Ghostface? And he grabs her and like is kind of like, I'm here, or she runs into him and just like, I'm here, which I thought was an interesting choice. This is where we noticed that he can't make eye contact with her for more than a few seconds. You were starting to talk about how he has shark eyes.
Shark eyes, man.
And he's looking over her shoulder at Stu, because Stu's just like in the distance down the hallway.
I think it was like specifically talking about like some kind of phone call or something. And it was like immediately I was like, oh, you're clocking your friend to be like, yeah, you did it, buddy. Okay, I'll continue the conversation.
Well, he keeps being like, how could I have called you if I was in prison? You know, and later in the movie, it's like, did you use your one call to do a fucking scream call at me?
Yeah.
Which is like,
but
they wouldn't have given his little voice box back to him.
No.
There's a lot of plot holes here. We just need to.
I just assumed it was what's his name?
I think it's Stu. I think it has to be Stu for that one. I don't think it could have been Billy. Yeah, and I also think too, like at that point in the film, when we'll get to it later, but when Sydney does ask that question, it also kind of adds to the idea right before something else happens, where it's like, is she actually just paranoid? Because like clearly he couldn't have had that in jail. Like it's like all those thoughts constantly like playing in your head.
Yeah. This is also where we now understand the full extent of what's happened to her, and like how she saw her mother being raped and murdered by another man, and then now you fully understand why she has intimacy issues, and he's still pressing it, and then he tells her that he should get over it, and then makes the he makes the comparison to like he makes that comparison. It's like, brother, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Lock him up in a different type of jail.
And also like the talk of the town too, of like all like everybody thinks like all these rumors about Sydney's mom, and like she has to go to school and hear all of these horrible things that everybody else just assumes about her family. Like it all just adds up so much for her. Like the stakes are so high.
Yeah,
and it's crazy.
He gaslights her so hard for 5 straight minutes.
Yeah,
and what all you guys said is true and happens, where he's like, well, you won't touch me, so I don't know what to do, which is just like he's so gross, but he's also, you know, Skeet Ulrich, who is a very nice person to look at, even though he's all greased up.
Quite.
He is handsome.
Yeah,
better than in the poster.
I've always wanted to be able to tuck my hair behind my ears like that, though, you know.
Same. I want that haircut. I can't pull it off.
Probably the worst acting in the movie, though, is where he's just like stupid, and then you go back and research and look into it, and like Neve Campbell had to leave set early that day, so he's acting opposite sometimes Craven, sometimes Julie Plack, who is Wes Craven's assistant, who actually worked with on We Were Liars. I didn't even know this at that point.
That's crazy.
And apparently his best acting was when he was acting opposite a mic stand with an X for Nev's like height for her eye line.
Like he's in a big CGI movie.
I wonder if that plays into the whole shark eye thing too, of like maybe his performance seems so cold and so calculated because he was never talking to a person, he was talking to an object, which like makes him even like more disconnected.
That's
because Billy the character is essentially talking to an object.
That's all he ever sees people at.
Yeah,
right? That's interesting.
That's amazing. I never thought about that.
Yeah, because like I even like with doing like any kind of like self tapes stuff, and I know like we've all like done our own like kind of creative ventures, but like I can always tell my self tapes when I'm like I have a reader or I don't, and one feels full of life and like one feels like I can put life into it, but it's not going to read the same. I think that might have really added to it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, the next big sequence is Principal Himbry, which is great. You know, he's harassing these kids with scissors. He overheard. Oh, we also have Sid in the bathroom overhearing the cheerleaders talking about how she's like suicidal, but like suicide is so out this season or whatever. And
like maybe it was her.
Yeah, maybe she killed Steve and Drew Barrymore's character. Really insane to hear that. Cass, you were they call Billy Bubble Butt Boyfriend Billy. That's
Bubble Butt Boyfriend Billy. Like what a great little love it. I almost put that as my name for tonight because I was like, that's very funny.
So what's confusing to me here though is like, why is Ghostface just there?
He had to take a
piss. Who is Ghostface there?
That's a great question.
This was Stu. I think this was Stu popped into the girls' bathroom knowing Sid was going to go in there.
Could be. Like it also could be that kid who was just dressed up as Ghostface and was like ready to like scare some kids.
Why did he attack? Why did he attack her?
Yeah.
He's trying to.
Because also that cape was just extra glittery. Like that was the first moment of like the boots going down and like the glitter cape, and I was like, oh, I like it.
And that was the thing too about the boots. I'm glad you brought that up because in the bedroom, in Sydney's bedroom, when Billy drops his phone, it hits his boot, and it's the exact same boots.
Oh, okay. That's Billy. There we go. We know
that's crazy. Well, like maybe
they're Reebok boots called Box. I learned.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
but great way of just setting up red herrings everywhere. So there is no way, like they're throwing clues at us left, right, center, and there's no way we're gonna know.
Yeah.
How about Sydney's action slide under the sinks?
Solid 10 out of 10.
She has so many good slides.
100%.
Also, my main note for her was like expert at blocking doorways. She knows how to block a doorway in this movie like nobody else.
It's almost like I don't know if you guys are like super aware of your surroundings just like in a day-to-day setting, but I think anybody who like has gone through any like level of like just trauma in life, like you are more aware of like certain things. And I have a weird kind of like Sydney character theory that it's like she dealt with a lot. Why wouldn't she know where her exits are? Why wouldn't she know how to block a door? Why wouldn't she like just constantly like subconsciously be knowing those things? And it saves her 1.5 million. Theory. Yeah.
That scared me.
Sorry.
It's too loud.
Yeah, so that's a great sequence. I really hated that the girls are saying all of the worst things while she can hear it. In the next scene, Gail and Dewey meet each other. Gail gets out of Dewey that Sid's dad may be missing, but we know that like he's allegedly gone on some sort of trip. And then, you know, it's interesting that those two in real life from this movie like got married because they do have some pretty good charisma. Like they have some good
chemistry.
Yeah. And what's funny?
That is the loudest candy wrapper I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, what is going on over there?
Crinkle, 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 crinkle.
I was trying to open it quietly. All right.
It's very good.
Yeah. This candy brought to you by Ryan Murphy.
Henry Winkler death sequence featuring Fred the janitor is the next note that I have here.
That's a good little Easter egg.
It is, yeah.
It's basically just a horror movie death sequence where he's all freaked out. He keeps like catching himself in mirrors and stuff. And then Ghostface just like rolls up and stabs him a bunch.
Yeah. My only problem with this scene, and maybe it's not even a problem so much as a question, but like having been to multiple schools in my life, I don't think I've ever encountered a principal who has a closet full of like suits and random shirts and everything.
Said this last night. I was like, who does that? That man is divorced or getting kicked out of his home. Like, nobody has that.
He lives in
I
that
said
office.
divorced 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, still finding, like, a new place, like, not allowed to stay at home, but hasn't found a new bachelor pad yet. Or, like, cares
like,
too much about his job and sleeps there.
Sleeps behind his desk. Yeah, definitely. And that's why he's taking this job so seriously, because it's the only thing he has left.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a creep, though. And he's clearly vain.
Weirdo, dude.
Yeah.
Because he has a mirror and he's like fixing his hair all the time. And when Sydney comes in, he like grabs her by the chin.
Grabs her. That weirded me out too. Like the whole like, don't like it. But maybe it's like
I once met a person who had like a wardrobe in their office and it was full of clothes. And I was just like, what the fuck?
Were they divorced?
I don't know. I didn't ask him. But
with so
I would have been like,
references.
excuse me, are you getting
he took us on a tour of the building and it was very hot and the AC was off. And he got really sweaty. And while we were having a meeting with him, he went into this room adjacent to his office and came back in and he was wearing fully different clothes. And I was like,
go on.
This is very strange. I don't want to get into details. A very powerful man. It might end up in a ditch.
Oh no. Don't talk about my divorce on the podcast.
Yeah. Also, the town is like shutting down. I don't know if we've gotten to that yet, but
curfews. Yeah.
The curfews are happening. There's that sequence outside of the school after this where Rose McGowan is talking to Sid. What's her name? Sorry, I fucking Tatum, yeah. Tatum sort of like she kind of has her own view of like what the rules for horror are, and she also references a horror director by the name of Wes Carpenter.
Yeah, I like that. It's very funny.
There's a really funny scene. I don't know if this was played for a laugh. I don't know if it was meant to be serious, but they talk and like go back into the school and it cuts to the bushes and you see Ghostface just like appear and run, which I thought was really funny.
Loved it.
Yeah, like
so campy.
Yeah, it's camp. That's the thing about it. I've never been able to really get a bead on if it was meant to be like a fun moment that Wes Craven was like, isn't it hilarious he's in the bushes? Or was it scary at the time? You know what I mean?
I don't think it was ever scary. I always wanted it to be humorous because I always think about that one scene in Halloween when Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie looks out her bedroom window down and just sees Michael Myers standing in the laundry and like out behind like the clothesline. And then I would love if he was just kind of like,
like, the camera saw me. Oopsie.
Yeah.
That's like a scary movie moment.
Yeah, and there's so many Halloween references to things like that to me. Like even like Casey Becker, like Barrymore's parents in the movie, telling her to go, or the father telling the mother to go run down to the Mackenzies, which is right out of Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's so many Halloween references that we just kind of missed in this. And then I'm starting to think, how many more references have I not even picked up on like 30 years later?
Like so many references because Wes Craven is like a master of horror and he probably jam-packed that movie full of it.
Yeah.
But if you don't know it, it's just a cool thing that's happening in the movie. You don't really recognize it as a reference. But the references that do happen, and also your own theory craft, you know, like your own headcanon stuff going on as well at the same time. Like this movie, you're allowed to use your imagination with this movie in a really unique way that when you're watching like the third Friday the 13th, you're just like, okay, just he's doing these series of kills now. Okay, great, whatever. There's they're not referencing anything. They're creating new things. But this is so meta that
it really encourages you to do such.
Yeah.
Which a lot of horror doesn't. They just kind of hammer you over the head with what's happening. And this is like, well, what do you think? Well, now we're going to flip that over. Now, what do you think?
How about the reference to the recently deceased Richard Gere in this very same
sequence?
Yeah. Where they
forgot about that.
Hamster stuff.
The gerbil.
Yeah. Cass, you said to me, like, there's going to be people watching this for the first time
that don't
know who Richard Gere is.
Or like that whole situation. Like
they may as well have been like, did you know that Marilyn Manson removed his bottom ribs so he could S his own D?
Yeah.
Like that's on
no, that's what our show is for, Jason.
Oh yes, you're right. Yeah. And that's also why I removed my bottom.
And you know what? He did, and it worked.
Yeah. It's all you gotta do. So simple.
So I can suck my own butt.
Just the one butt cheek. But like to go back really quickly, I had to find a way to
save
bring back something else.
I would make it less gross. Cheek.
You should clip that and put that one on TikTok, Jason. That's just for
what
you.
If I remove 4 ribs, can I kiss my own butt cheeks?
Yeah,
that's what I want to do. Just a nice little smooch.
But going back to the whole Halloween reference, because I don't want to forget it later in case I do, because I know we'll get to the scene eventually. But also having Halloween playing in the background during kind of final moments in this, having Sydney like kind of change clothes into this iconic blue t-shirt and like iconic denim that is so Jamie Lee in Halloween, and having like even just that parallel right beside each other is like, you had to put her in blue? Of course you did. Like, it's right on the money. Love details like that.
But it's still like the 90s style.
Exactly. Still its own thing.
There's so much like of the era. We made a joke about how like all the guys have bootcut jeans on. Like, this is right before skinny jeans exists. Everybody has those weird like shirts that are like rounded around the neck.
I miss them.
Straight up color. Yeah.
I want them back. I mean, they are coming back, but I want them for me. They were usually like dude shirts, and I didn't get them.
We're before thumb through the long sleeve shirt in this movie too, which would happen a couple years later, which has come back.
I think that's more 2000s. I do love a good like thumb through. I should do that with this sweater.
I used to fuck up all my shirts. I used to mess it up too, and it'd be like, I'd have like this much room.
Mm-hmm.
I have that on this one.
Nice.
Oh, you did that to nice. You did that to the dude fucking cardigan? That's tight.
I didn't do it on purpose. It just happened over time, brother. You know, you're smoking as many doobies as I do. Yeah, it's like your opinion, man. I don't care.
Imagine you with a white Russian right now, just like swirling your ice cubes.
You know, White Russian was my nickname in high school, man.
Stop. I set you up for that.
Jeff Bridges was on Kimmel this week and he called it a Caucasian.
I saw that.
Yeah. You guys just chill out, man. What a cool moment. I've just watched the first 2 Trons, well, the only 2 Trons, and Jeff Bridges, man, think about it. Speaking of thinking about it, how about this whole blockbuster sequence where Jamie Kennedy really gets to excel at telling the rules of horror in a blockbuster? What an iconic.
I love this scene. I love this scene so much. It makes me so
This is
happy.
me on film.
Yeah. I think that Jamie Kennedy could have played the Joker because his mouth is insane. I don't know if you guys noticed that his mouth control, like when he smiles, it's like too big.
It's crazy.
I think that he's another David Arquette who like went down the weird bad road, the Hollywood road that takes you to like you're seen in the past. You're seen in retrospect as an insane person, but if you watch some of his early stuff, he's like a pretty good actor. He's pretty competent, and they just made him start doing like silly comedies instead of this kind of stuff where he really excelled.
He can play drama well, like even in the sillies of comedy, like he can play that like really serious. Like I'm funny as I say it, but I do care, and it is real.
Yeah. Well, I think if you're comparing him to like David Arquette and that, like David Arquette comes from a well-beloved lineage of actors.
Yeah.
Patricia Arquette is an all-time actor, you know.
Well, Louis Arquette, his father, who was in Scream 2, plays I think the chief, or I forget. Like he plays Dewey's superior in that movie. But like that is quite a lineage of famous actors. Whereas Jamie Kennedy was kind of like the guy who showed up and became famous for something that I don't really think he knew he was good at.
Yeah.
I don't think that was his passion. His passion
could
is
have been a
zany
lucky
comedy.
break of just like being like
Thank you.
right place, right time. Casting directors like, here you go, and you're like, okay, we're rolling. So here I am.
I think
and
Jamie
this guy
and Seth Green fill the same space too, and Seth Green just got the roles.
Yeah.
I think they filled the same nerd space, like this.
I can see that.
Yeah, but this guy who got his lucky break being this horror film addict trivia person made me spend $300 on a pair of lime green hush puppies.
Black. I love that. That's so fun.
Like I was Randy Meeks, but I wanted to be Randy Meeks at the same time. It was really strange. Like he's one of my favorite film characters of all time.
And one of the most iconic in this movie too. Like when you think about Scream, like obviously you think about Sydney and you think about like your killers and whatever, but you think about Randy. Like Randy really sticks out because of his like kind of command over being that fourth wall breaking narrator.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's on our side as the viewer, which is cool.
Yeah. And they named a whole river after him as well.
And an airport.
Was that too tight? Is that too deep a reference?
Deep cut.
That's good.
I saw a TikTok recently of him on like one of those panel shows where they ask trivia questions and stuff, and like they're asking questions about horror movies, and then one came up and everyone was getting it wrong, and he's like, I was in this movie, right? They're like asking a question about Scream, and they're like, oh fuck yeah, I forgot you were in that.
That's insane. How can you forget? But okay.
Yeah.
Wild.
He looks very different now.
That's true. Yeah. He also had a really like rough like series of like bad movies and going crazy.
I always like Son of the Mask.
Yeah. Oh man, Son of the Mask was the worst movie I've ever seen, probably, and not in a good way. It's just terrible. But I always think of him early in the days of the video game awards. They would have like some comedian come on, and they kind of had the comedian lean into it being like a nerd event. But the first time they did it was with Jamie Kennedy, and he like showed up drunk and was just like. They did it with Joel McHale after, and Joel McHale at least has a little bit of like self-respect. But the Jamie, you can find it on YouTube, and it's like a cringe compilation of him just like dogging the event in a way that like you don't need to dog this event. You don't need to be that guy, especially where you built your career off playing a nerd.
Was he like really going through it at that time? Like, because I also know like there's a kind of going back to what I was saying earlier about like this cast having amazing chemistry. I know like a lot of this cast also has like very strong opinions on Hollywood and like had some like weird kind of just trying to figure out life stuff. And I think weirdly it makes sense why they all got along so well in this film. Like I think there's a difference of like maybe people going into like a Hollywood setting and being like, I want to be famous versus like I love creating something and I'm here with all these people and now I'm thrown into spotlight where things are crazy. Hollywood is crazy. So like I can see that like maybe that just took a huge toll.
I've always had a really weird take on this movie, this cast in particular. And I've always looked at it like this is the 90s version of The Lost Boys, and Jamie Kennedy is Corey Feldman.
I can see that. I can see that for sure.
Yeah.
The Lost Boys is really good.
It's amazing. But like he nailed that role and has chased it ever since and has never gotten it again.
And other people fill those roles. Like we were just saying, like with oh my gosh, what's his face? Like taking over that scene. Seth Green. Like, okay, cool, Hollywood, that's your cast now. That's your one person for that type. Like that's gut wrenching. I can only imagine how like that takes a toll on your psyche too.
Absolutely devastating. Yeah. There's no way it can't be.
Yeah. Crazy.
But I mean, at least we have this, right? At least
we got
the Frog Brothers and the Lost Boys.
And hopefully, like, seems to be doing okay. If he's doing like panels and stuff and making jokes, hopefully he's like having a better time. No. I don't know. I don't keep up.
This is also the sequence where everything gets thrown around about like accusations about who the killer might be, and he's basically telling us like Billy is the killer. And we're all like, true, he is giving off killer vibes. And it's like, it's kind of like the audacity of coming in here after being accused of murder and standing in the horror section is really fucked up.
Flirting with girls that aren't your girlfriend.
Yeah, he's like feeding them candy and stuff. And you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Billy is nasty. I wouldn't want anyone to touch my nose or my earlobe or feed me candy if your hair was looking like that. Greasy. I don't know where those hands have been if that's how you treat your hair.
But
also, the comment too that he makes about like Stu being like such a lapdog and like being like, okay, whatever. And I'm like, you called this, man. Like you were on the right track.
You must listen.
But they also do a really good job at throwing us off because as we're starting to try and figure out who is doing what, they throw in the line, it's the millennium, motives are incidental.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, okay, then I have no idea who it is now, if that's the rule we're using. So it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
It's so like the carrot is always right there. And then like the moment you get like this far away from it, it's like zoink off screen. You're like, wait, where'd it go?
This also sets up something for a movie 22 years later or whatever, where this character basically, lays out the plot for you, and then we get something similar in a later movie where it's similar but completely different. So they take the idea of this character and they do the same sort of thing where they're obsessed with horror movies in general, except they're obsessed specifically with like this Stab franchise. And I kind of like that it's almost a callback to this character because this is a good character, and he doesn't make it all the way to the Legacy sequel. Let's say that much.
Yeah, did you guys? I was listening, but did you mention that Stu and Billy just like corner him and just give him
it's like full like wolf attacking prey moment too. Like he is like fully like cornered on either side, and like obviously yes, like bully vibes, but like the way that it's shot is like so predator versus prey.
Yeah, and they also literally reference The Howling like right before that happens too, which is good.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys have seen The Howling, but it's a werewolf movie.
Of course, one of Joe Dante's best.
Yeah,
but I loved how in that scene, Stu embarrassed Randy, and like as he was like freaking out, he was kind of like,
yeah,
and then Billy comes in and bullies him, so he's already been embarrassed, and now he's being shoved to the ground.
Yeah,
and I thought that was like, it's a perfect 1-2 combo to show that like this is a weird pack trying to take people down, and that's when I knew at that point I'm like, there's no way it's Randy.
Yeah,
and and then when you get to the later scene at Stu's house and he and Randy run up, you're like, well, I know it's not Randy.
Yeah,
but I also
and Stu's acting way too crazy though in that moment too, where you're like, wait, whoa, can't be, you're too lovely and weird.
Exactly. Yeah,
but that's a twist that they kind of do in the later movies where the whole time you're going, it can't be that person, and they prove it to you over and over. Mm-hmm. And then the Randy character kind of is the killer, especially in the 5 and 6 movies. It's like they ran out of ideas. But I like those movies, you know.
I don't know if it's that they ran out of ideas so much as they wanted to harken back to a character that everybody loved. It's
right.
Like, how do we recreate the magic of this character? And I think I don't think it's as good as this character, but I think they did an admirable job of trying to capture the magic of this character and do it in a way that isn't an exact carbon copy, but also has sort of like payoff within the movie that it's in, which we'll talk about in 5 years when we get to that.
Yeah, exactly. I think 4 or 5 has that one girl who's like is kind of the de facto this character, but the rules aren't right, so she keeps getting like swerved herself. I think that's in 5, and it's because
she's not dealing with murderers who are actually following the rules that they're obsessed with.
Yeah,
that's the thing about this movie is that these two guys are, well, at least Billy. We don't really know. Stu is maybe just sort of the follower.
Think he's along for the ride. Like I think he's like.
He literally says like, "What are you? What's your excuse for all this?" And he's like,
"Peer pressure. I'm too sensitive."
Peer pressure.
I think it's also
you already
like
call the police
in the true crime like kind of world of it too. Of like you usually have like your like kind of master manipulator, and then your person who's like maybe more gullible and like not maybe super within reality, like can
no. I think you nailed it with that. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And with like true crime podcasts and everything I listen to, like that is, more often than not, is the case.
Yeah.
But this, I think, was the introduction of that idea to me, and I think to a lot of people.
And also to this kind of horror film franchise, like anything like that wasn't really ever dabbled with. The other thing I like about this blockbuster scene too, just before I forget, not only do we have this like predator versus prey moment of like Stu and Billy over Randy, but like it's the only time, except for near the end, that we actually get to see them working in tandem without any mask, without any like voiceover. Like you still see that menacing moment in broad daylight as people. And I think that's so cool. That's all. Also, I will be right back. I have to plug my phone in, and I will be like 5 minutes, but continue without me.
Sounds good.
Okay, bye.
All right.
This next sequence is the city's on curfew. Tatum and Sydney discuss Billy being a gross man. Funny to see the police chief and Dewey talk to each other. He's smoking and Dewey has a strawberry ice cream cone. We talked about that a bunch. Yeah. Gail, so the big house party happens. I thought it was funny that Dewey, the police officer, drops Sydney off, but Cass was like, well, it's her little brother, so like the little, as long as you're kind of doing it under my roof, he's
older brother.
older brother.
Yeah.
Sorry. But it's like, I have a bead on you. I can see what you're doing. And then also it's funny because he just becomes part of the party like moments later.
Yeah.
And then we get the, they're having a good time watching Halloween, and Tatum goes out to the garage, and I think she thinks it's Stu, like her boyfriend dressed as Ghostface, or somebody
Randy.
Ghostface, or Randy. Yeah. And then he starts being like aggressive with her, and then she throws the beer bottles at him, which is a great moment, and he's taken aback. But as he pulls the knife out, and as she stabs her and does that's what he does, that one, right? Like he
slices, holds her arm and slices it, and then
and as she's crawling away, she tries to climb through the doggy door of the garage door, and he just kind of walks over and presses it. And I love this moment. It's so funny to me that when she dies and the sparks are flying, he kind of makes this like gesture that's like, good enough. Okay. Did the kill. I thought that was a really funny moment. And this, interestingly enough, I didn't talk about this in my history with the movie, but I get this scene for some reason mixed up with Idle Hands, and I don't know why. I might have just seen them close together.
The car
movies. Oh, maybe.
Yeah, where Jessica Alba is tied to the roof of the car, and the lift is going up to crush her against the pentagram on the
Okay, but when I was like, I saw this somewhere, right? Like young, and then I always thought that this scene was in Idle Hands. So when I rewatched it years later, I was like, oh, it's from this. And also, what a crazy death. There's a lot of like stuff to pick apart about this scene. Like a car garage door wouldn't be able to like support a human like that. But then also like it feels implied that the electricity killed her a little bit, but obviously that isn't what kills her. She like is hung sort of by it, but also like the amount of pressure it would take to kill somebody with a door. We don't have to get too into it, but it's a funny sequence.
It's
because there's so much left to your imagination. It's so like Jason. It's so Friday the 13th, like ridiculous kill.
I was glad that you brought that up because I think it is the only Friday the 13th style kill in this movie. It is absolutely ridiculous. It would never work, but it's one of those kills that everybody remembers from this movie.
Yeah.
And
Wes
somehow
Craven was cooking when he was writing it. Like he was like, what if, and this is what happens. And we make it look like one thing, but it's another thing.
But the weird thing is, like, very aware of all of that because, like you said, Jason, he makes this gesture like even he is like, I can't believe that fucking happened.
Yeah. And that's just it, because it is absolutely insane. It's ridiculous. It's completely unbelievable, but we're all okay with it.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think it's because when you go to see a movie like this, you want something like that to happen. You're okay with it not happening as well, but when it does, you're also like, okay, ridiculous kill, check. So that means, you know, you've left the movie satisfied with your Freddy style kill, your Jason style kill, or your Michael Myers style kill. It's happened in this, right?
Fair.
So it's going down the checklist of all the slasher movies that we know and love, and it's also checking off the stuff that like we all are aware of is ridiculous and silly, but like that's why it's fun. This is a fun movie. And it's also why we see a crazy kill, at least one in every Scream movie going forward. There's always at least one, right?
Yeah.
And you look forward to it. I mean, I do at least.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just.
I think in the second one where she gets like she's like dancing in the play and she's getting like stabbed. I think that's kind of like one of the more ridiculous things from that movie. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we'll talk about that in the spring, but that movie
makes me think of the Rob Zombie Michael Myers movies where there's never there aren't like crazy kills in them. They're all just very mean-spirited and over the top gruesome kills, and you're kind of like, you don't feel the fun of it. It feels mean-spirited, and you're like, that guy just got beat to death with a branch, and you're like, that's not fun. It's scary.
There is no fun in those movies. They're just mean, and that is a type of horror I can't really get behind. And you guys know me, like being such a big Carpenter fan and loving Halloween so much. Seeing shit like that, it's a really big letdown because I feel like it's just a cheap way. Welcome back. Just a cheap way of delivering a better version of the story we've already had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's sort of like the formula, right? Or like that's the thesis of this kill in this movie is that like it adds a sense of levity while also like presenting us with something pretty gruesome. And like, you know, the Scary Movie movies spoof this exact kill in like a crazier way, right? And it's because it is one of the most memorable parts of this movie. Like, I haven't seen this movie in a while, but like I said, I can go through it sort of like beat for beat. And this is by far the one that's like, it's got some of the most anticipation built around it because they set up the door. They see the door is not working. She can't get out. She's going through the thing. She gets stuck. Even when she's getting stuck, you're like, she could fit. Why the fuck aren't you fit?
She can easily fit.
Stick your other arm through, man.
What we noticed about Tatum's character the whole time is that she's like the antithesis of big boob, blonde, like horror trope. And I couldn't help but think that like part of her trying to get out was because her boobs were too big, which is a very like
her boobs are fully through. Both of them.
But Cass, you know what I mean?
Like, also has to fit.
Yeah, she's also wearing like a fake bra with fake nipples at this point, which is crazy.
Okay.
This theory the whole time, and I was asking Jason, I was like, I don't want to like make this about nips, but like this is about nips. All of the scenes except for like the one costume she has, it's like a jersey. Her nips are always very present, and especially in this, they're very present. And then I was really analyzing it last night with Jason. I was like, that can't be like that has to be a costume.
No, those are fake.
And like, then he turns around, you can see the bra strap. So I'm like, clearly, this is a costuming choice.
This is a nipple bra. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, it's just there. It's like a prop basically that it's part of her wardrobe was like fake nipples, which I think is funny because when she opens the door to the garage, I'm like, whoa. There's a lot of lighting going on here, and you just see the full nipple. And then I'm like, wait, you can also see the outline of the bra. This doesn't make sense. I'm like, logically, those nipples shouldn't exist. What's going on here?
Cass pointed out, like, we were trying to both figure out what it was. I was like, it's like, those incense cones. I was like,
they're called nipples.
A couple of those in. but when, like, clearly she's got a straight up regulation bra on when you see her from behind because she's got the full big bra strap on the back.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure it out. I don't know enough. Well, I know a little bit.
I know that a bra would not show your full nipple like that unless it's just like a pure fabric bra or something.
We were trying to figure out what kind of bra it would be, what the fabric would be. Maybe just one of those bras that's like mostly cloth on the front, but based on the strap, that wouldn't be what they are.
You can tell in the back because like of the way the fabric is on just like the shirt that she happens to be wearing when she does have that one moment of like her back turned. And I'm like, that's not just like a normal, like this is just fabric bra. Like that is something that is doing work.
Yeah.
Like it is structured, which is very, it was just like a really funny detail where it's like almost Scary Movie-esque of like, of course she's like got like perfect bod and like full nips because it's a horror movie and she's about to die.
And she's also blessed to nip through sweaters in this movie. Like she's wearing sweaters a lot. And
truthfully, I did not notice the nipples until this sequence because they're like very on display here.
The first introduction to like all the friend group and like they're all hanging out and she's like hanging out with Stu and like he has his arm around her. I'm like still like full nips. They're there. They're more disguised, but they're still there. Crazy.
Well,
you have to go back and watch the nipple cut.
I think we all know in our
those
heart
nipples cut.
In our heart of hearts.
Glass.
In our nips of nips.
In our nips of nips. In the nips beneath our bras, we all know that those are fake nipples, guys.
Yeah.
We're not real.
Very funny, like cool costuming choice though. I dig it. I'm here for it.
It's so like standard horror. Like
also, when she opens the door, she says, "Welcome to Nepal, population 2."
Quote for quote.
Yeah, isn't that what she says? I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
She either says that or I have to get more beer. I can't remember. One of the two.
They're very close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can say.
So right after that, Billy shows up to the party. So we're all going. I thought he was on curfew, or he was
definitely that's a Billy kill, right? Sorry, I wasn't here for that part, but like that's a Billy kill.
We didn't speculate.
He seemed very tall, which made me think it was Lillard. So I was like, "This is."
Well, Lillard. But Lillard's in the other room wearing his like smoking jacket, being like for the party because it's.
Isn't this after the? Isn't this after the part? Oh yeah, he's the one that asks her to get beer. So yeah, it probably is Billy. Yeah.
And I also think too, like having Billy show up at the party after that, and he came through the garage door and then just arrived at the party randomly. So I'm like, that has to be Billy. And also interesting too, the way that kill was done was not what I would assume is more of a Stu kill of like kind of like having fun with it and being like, oh, I'm gonna stab you and I'm gonna fall over a bunch. Like he took the advantage instead of going to like kill her with a knife, which he easily could have done while she was stuck in that door. Instead was like, I like movies and I'm going to be more creative. And I don't actually really want to maybe get my own hands dirty with this. Ding, push the button. It just seems more like Billy aligned than what Stu would do. That's just my own.
I think it might be that Billy, when it's more tenacious and straightforward, it's Billy. But when it's more wacky and sort of, it's Stu. For the kills.
I also wonder how much they actually thought about this when they were making the movie.
I don't know. It could just be like
question.
Versus intemperate.
Is this like a Kevin Smith has his characters talk about if fucking the thing has a stone penis? Like, is this one of those like the Wes Craven just wrote it the way that we see it, and he never expected anybody to really dissect it?
Maybe.
I mean, he must have known that people were going to because that's all people do about horror movies all the time. So like,
and the internet was a thing.
I was just trying to remember if it's before or after Matthew Lillard says, "I'll be right back," and everyone laughs.
Oh no, that was after.
No, that's like the next sequence.
Okay, so then it must have been Billy. It's like there are parts where it's very obvious who it must have been just based on where the other person is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this is one of those where it must have been Billy, but. I think that his like mannerisms and his height and everything make it feel like it's Lillard, but it can't be Lillard because he's in the other room. I don't know.
Yeah, and the thing with Stu is that you can tell he doesn't really give a shit about Tatum at all.
Yeah,
but he's like when she references him dating Casey, he gets kind of testy about it.
Yeah.
So you can tell he's the one who takes out Casey, and then Billy will take out Tatum because in my in my mind, to Stu. Tatum is an afterthought.
Yeah, and to Billy,
also,
Tatum actually makes more sense because she's tied to Sydney. Like that's
yes.
like Sydney's like main like protector. So why wouldn't you take out her best friend?
See, I didn't even think about that. That's perfect. That's absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
More motive. Motive does happen. It's not just there is always motive.
Yeah.
I wonder if Billy and Stu are doing it.
Well,
there's a
widely regarded theory that they were lovers the whole time. So,
I mean, they're pretty
close. Gay couple in horror cinematic history. However, if you go back and watch,
I do not think that's true in one iota.
Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, that's as gay as it gets, right? So, it was an allegory.
I think too, like I think it's just the way that those two actors are. I think Matthew Lillard as an actor is like just like very open. Like he like in anything that he's ever really in, like he's totally like okay with kind of like touch and like being close with people, no matter like what like sex or gender or whatever identity. And I think that the fact that their chemistry together was so incredible. I can understand why people would be like, they were also like maybe together. I don't necessarily actually think that's the case, but I do like it. I like the thought. It's fun.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I can see Stu being overly affectionate in ways like that, because when Billy is like talking to Sydney in the kitchen, and Stu comes up behind him, and he's just like, he's not even like, not just that, but like he is leaning on him and like resting on him. Exactly. He is right in. But when you look at it, like Billy is obviously telling Stu what to do.
Yes.
And it's like he knows that his best friend is in love with him and will do whatever he says to do. And this is my agenda, and I need you to help me with this. And that's where we're going.
Which is something I didn't even really pick up on until this viewing yesterday. Like I didn't really see that he was like a follower. Billy is the mastermind of the whole thing. Billy is more obsessed with horror. I don't think Stu really mentions horror at all.
Except for the references that Billy throws at him, or like maybe that he came from Billy himself, but it doesn't look like he was the one that was like going into it with plan. I was also talking to Jason last night too, of like his true crime brain. I can't help myself. Of the dynamic with Stu as a character, just like on his own, and how he could have been wrapped up in someone like Billy. And I was like, well, like Stu clearly like has some like maybe behavioral problems. Like he's very gullible, he's very loud, he's very goofy, but he's very charismatic. And also at the same time, we see Billy's dad involved in a lot of things, but we don't see Stu's parents around at all. In fact, like he lives in this giant mansion, but his parents aren't there. So like how much was he like maybe just a character? And this is never really like fully talked about. I don't know if this is something that maybe Matthew Lillard just like kind of maybe put a little bit more into performance as well of how he wanted to play it. But like he seemed like a lonely kid who didn't have anybody, who was troubled, and then had
the context was for that.
Like, I have all the answers. You just got to do what I say, and also fed into his like impulsiveness as a person.
The context clues for that are pretty glaring too, because during this whole sequence, we see them at this like basically a mansion. He talks about his parents not being around.
I mean, all these kids are rich. Everybody lives in a fucking mansion in this movie.
Yeah.
Every character in this movie lives in a mansion, guys.
This house is crazy, though.
Speaking of that house,
a final moment, like on the phone with Sydney, we'll get there, but like, he's saying like probably his final words, and he's like, "Wait, did you actually call the cops?
Did you call
the mom and dad are going to be so mad at me." And like, there is like, it's funny, but there is, I think, like even more like in there that it's like maybe it's like you don't have maybe the best life, maybe you're rich, but I don't think you have a very good relationship.
But he's just a child.
He's a baby.
Full on, just a child. Exactly, he's a baby. This is my favorite movie house of all time.
It's good.
Yeah.
Everything's
it's everything about it is fucking perfect.
It is very similar to the Hitchcock house, other than the garage with the attic above it. Like if you were to remove that entire segment, it looks a lot like the Hitchcock house. Even like the Psycho house. Even the interior of it looks like the Psycho house.
To an extent, but
layout wise, maybe if you just mirror it, because like the staircase followed by the kitchen in the background.
The staircase.
But like
the
walls are painted red too, which I thought was kind of a reference to The Shining a little bit. More maybe The Simpsons saying "red room" over there. I just felt like it exemplifies horror. It's got so many like places to go.
Yeah. There has been a thing. I don't think it's happened over the last few years, but there were contests where you could enter, and they would select like 15 to 25 people, I think, where you would like all of the winners would go spend a night in Stu Macher's house and watch Scream and have a party where like all like food and booze was provided for them.
Oh, I
and
love
you stay in the house.
I'm pressing the Stu Macher button. Yeah.
I would kill for that. It is.
I would do a Scream situation to have that experience.
Ben,
I would kill everybody.
I think that automatically like gets you a ticket in, right? You're like, well, you know.
I hope so.
I killed my best friend. Can I come over, please, to your house?
That's the other thing about the.
I assure you, my mom and dad will be so mad at me.
Yeah. Anyway, just to put a period on the point of Stu and Billy's relationship. Billy, I'm pretty sure when he was stabbing Stu, was like, I'm going to stab him enough times so that he doesn't make it. So I'll be the only one left. Yeah, he's not getting out of here alive. So he doesn't kill him enough. He doesn't stab enough to take him out immediately. But he's like, I'm gonna stab him way more times than he stabs me, and he will die before the police arrive, and I'll be the only one left.
I think I'm fucking dying.
Really cool in the story that Billy's creating. Like, it's
the way I look at it is that if he was able to manipulate Stu into doing everything and all requests without question, how easy will it be for the police to get the truth out of Stu? So I need to make sure that Stu isn't there as well, right?
True. Yeah, he would be like just like full talking.
Yeah.
Way quicker than
we'll get to that in 1 second because that's coming up next. But there's a very important moment where Billy and Sid go to the bedroom. She finally is like, you can't be the killer. Also, we're gonna have sex. I'm finally willing and ready to give myself to you.
I'll be right back.
So manipulated.
And they like it's really weird because he gets shark eyes almost immediately, you know, like he gets into like fucking that weird mode, and he gets what he wants, not in a sexual way, but in the like killer's gratification way on that meta level of I did the Friday the 13th thing where I turned the final girl who he probably has been telegraphing or he's been clocking the whole time. Like I can't do my weird psychopathic ultimate kill unless I get her to lose her virginity, because it plays into the like meta horror thing that I'm trying to do here. So that happens. Meanwhile, downstairs, they're all watching Halloween 1. Jamie Kennedy's character is really laying on thick the rules of everything as they're happening in real time in the movie. And we find out that there's been a kill like off-site. So the kids rush to that kill. They almost hit Dewey and Gale on the road. Also, she references her dumb fucking meteorologist name. Her name is Gale Weathers, which we were joking about, me and Cass. And she's like, I should have been a meteorologist. But I ended up being the person that's like the main announcer. And basically, Billy and Sid discuss him killing or calling from prison, that whole segment. Ghostface shows up and stabs Billy. So while all of these things are happening, all at the same time. It's one of those moments in a movie. And in the bedroom, when Billy's just basically like, I can't be the killer because we just had sex. Ghostface comes in, stabs him, which was awesome. Because I'm telling you right now, I've seen this movie a bunch of times, and literally last night I'm still going, but if he's getting stabbed right now, how is he the killer? Obviously I remembered. But chases Sid out the window. She lands on a boat, does a perfect fucking wrestling bump.
Crazy, she should have been impaled. Like that is so final.
Well,
girl.
any other character
she did not die in that fall.
Any other character in this movie would have been impaled on something from that fall.
Well, Jace, there's one thing I'm really surprised you didn't pick up on, and I saw it as soon as it happened. He got stabbed. Like Billy got stabbed. What, 3 times?
Yeah.
There was no holes in his shirt.
Nothing.
That's a good point, but also, like, in this movie, there aren't a lot of holes anyway, you know?
Except the holes in the bodies from the stab wounds. Am I right, people?
I was waiting for that. Like, Steve comes back at the perfect time.
When Henry Winkler gets killed, you just kind of see him laying on the ground with, like, a squib bleeding out.
Yeah.
Like,
holes. They're in there. And like we also see a lot of other gore, but like you're right, it's like for some reason that moment we're not picking up on the fact that we're only seeing blood. Like that's weird.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I think that it was a deliberate choice to not make any of the stabs really have like cut wounds on shirts. And it just from a like making it more PG standpoint to really hit the point home towards the end, because when he reveals that like, oh, it's corn syrup, oh, just like in Carrie, when they start stabbing each other to like go into the ending, it doesn't really look like there's stab wounds. It looks like there's cut wounds like on his arm, but it doesn't. I feel like they didn't really do stab wounds through shirts. I do see what you're saying, Ben, and I agree with you. You're right.
Yeah, there are some big old gash marks in the shirts at the end. Except for Billy,
at the end,
just smears shit all over himself, or whatever. Was it a spaghetti sauce or something? What's he say? Like spaghetti sauce. He said, ketchup, just like Mom used to put on her spaghetti.
You know the scene in Carrie where she gets a whole bunch of spaghetti poured on her head.
Gabagool.
Gabagool. It's the AI version of it.
Yeah. Oh my god. All right, moving on.
Yeah. Right, so she falls and lands on the boat. Jamie Kennedy,
he tries to escape.
I'm just catching up because I think this is the scene where they both run up to the door, like we're Sid and Jamie.
Did we miss the Kennedy kill like at the van, and then also like as they're watching on that 30-second delay, Randy being like, "Look behind you,
Jamie."
I was like, so good.
That is probably one of the most meta points of the movie.
Yeah.
Jamie Kennedy yelling at the screen, watching Michael Myers behind Jamie Lee Curtis saying, "Behind you, Jamie." Like it's perfect.
Well, his name is Jamie. Yeah. That's why my notes are so fucking weird right now, because I was trying to write out what was happening, but I'm referring to him as Jamie and not his character name. Hell breaks loose. Gail drives the news truck into a ditch. Sid's running away. Randy and Stu encounter Sid blaming each other after Dewey gets stabbed in the back. Wouldn't be the last time he gets stabbed in the back. Spoilers. Billy gets the gun and shoots Randy. He references Psycho and Carrie in like one sentence or 2 sentences.
Mm-hmm.
He says a line from Psycho, and then he references how the blood that he has all over him is like the same blood they used in Carrie, which I thought was great.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, he couldn't use the Psycho reference again because then he would have been covered in like chocolate syrup, and that would have been a very different. I don't think it would have worked the same.
Remember 2 Girls, 1 Cup? That's what I'm doing right now.
The truest war story of all time.
little bit of trivia if no one knows this. What made Psycho such a controversial film when it was first screened?
Toilet screen.
Alfred Hitchcock.
First time a toilet flushed on screen.
Oh, was it? Because
I was not joking when I said toilet. That was the right answer.
Oh, because I have more trivia about that movie. Psycho was the first time that you went to a movie and watched it all the way through. Before that, they played movies in a loop. So, like, you catch the subway and the subway comes and you get on the subway. It was like you go to a movie and the movie's just playing and you go to the movie. And when you went to a movie, it was just a party. Like, people were just going to like a movie and it was on the screen. Alfred Hitchcock said, no, because there's so many twists and turns in this. When the movie starts, you sit down and you watch the fucking movie and you be quiet. Yeah. That's why movies are the way they are up until before COVID. Now it's a party again. They may as well just show Marvel movies on a loop and you go and catch it. People would go to movies from the point they were playing because they were on a loop, and you would get there halfway through and then stay and see what you missed. Alfred Hitchcock said, no. Movies are meant to be seen from beginning to end. So
you're gonna miss a lot.
Wow, what
a revolutionary idea.
What a novel experience
from beginning to end.
That's crazy.
He said all that, and he also said, oh, so I'm going to put a toilet flushing on screen and you all deal with it. The
Yanks will have no idea what to think.
But there was all kinds of things, like they would tell people not to talk, like they would have people buy the books that the Psycho was based off of, so you wouldn't be able to find out how the movie ends based off the book. The advertising for the movie was all like there was I saw a picture of a cutout of Alfred Hitchcock with a bubble, like a speech bubble, being like, once you're in the movie, you can't leave, and also please don't tell anybody the ending to this movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Like Psycho changed cinema, and that's what I thought you were referencing. But the fact that they showed a flushing is incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, well, Steve knew what was up, man. Like that's what.
It's not that I know movie trivia. I know toilet trivia. Like no.
I know toilets, right? That's why my name is Mario.
They used to call me toilet knowledge in high school.
I gave you some
the plum flusher over here.
I give you some actual fucking film knowledge, or trivia, but you guys were like, nope, the toilet thing. The toilet thing. That's what you really.
Well, I mean, I also knew the thing you were saying, Jason. I just didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, I'm not trying to take anything away from you. I'm just trying to take everything away from you.
Okay, well, wouldn't be the first time.
Won't be the last.
Hey.
Toilet.
So, Stu and Billy corner Sid. They reveal their motive. Sid's mom was banging Billy's dad. We don't know much about Stu. They have Sid's dad in a closet, which they also reveal. They're going to frame Sid's dad
for a long time too, right?
Yeah. They're going to frame Sid's dad as the killer because Billy's dad and Sid's mom had an affair, which is a huge plot point going forward for the next two movies as well. Cotton, basically completely innocent, but has been like fucking psychologically damaged by being part of the prison system, which is also a great thing that we're going to talk about when we get to those movies. They're going to frame Sid's dad as the killer. They stab each other a bunch, which is one of my favorite scenes, I think. And I didn't even really hone in until we talked about it, that Billy stabs him way harder. Then when Stu stabs him back, because he's like just low and to the left and, don't get any vital organs. And he just kind of goes after Stu is fully fucking like stabbed in the gut. Like it's brutal. It's hardcore. I really like this sequence. I have always liked this sequence, even from a person afraid of horror knowing that this is how this movie sort of ends up is so fucking iconic, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I have maybe a point to add to that too. Like this, I do agree that this scene is like one of my favorite scenes, I think, in cinema, mostly because the actors just crush so hard and it's very, stakes are high, but it's still believable. One of my favorite moments between characters is Billy and Stu after Stu does his stab and Billy's like, okay, give me the knife. And you can just see it on Stu's face that he like does not trust that he's gonna get that knife back. Like that hesitation of like, no. And I'm like, this is where things all fall apart for killers. When that trust is now weirdly broken and they can't trust each other either, all immediately falls apart into chaos. And I love it.
Yeah.
Definitely one of my favorite parts of the film for sure.
Yeah. That's good.
Like but also, Action Gale,
don't condone his actions, but like he's also such like a victim in it too. And I'm like, oh, this is so sad. Like
it's true.
Yeah, I really do think that Stu was played so hard and gaslit, brainwashed, however you want to say it, to just following what Billy wanted. And the thing is, they never really go into why.
Yeah.
And it seems like he has everything that he needs. So why is Stu doing what he's doing?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Does anybody know about the show called The Following?
I'm aware of it.
Seen it yet, but I've heard really good things.
Yeah. It came out quite a few years ago. And it was originally going to be a Scream sequel.
Oh, interesting.
And it was Stu in prison, having survived the end of the film, influencing a bunch of people to continue the Ghostface murders. So he was basically running a cult from prison. And that is what The Following TV show turned into. They just changed names, changed like disguises and everything. But it was really great. It was, again, Kevin Williamson. And I thought that would have been an absolutely amazing film. And he does admit, like, this is my idea for the next Scream film.
Cool. That's crazy.
I watched it.
It's got Kevin Bacon and Sean really Ashmore. Good. Yeah, I remember the show coming out, and that's a really good concept for a TV show.
Yep.
I'll probably watch that actually.
It's called The Following.
That's actually interesting too, because like I've always tried to figure out like Stu's motive and what that could be for him, other than like the kind of follower leader dynamic, and like possibly whatever his life is like. But I think even kind of going into that, it makes me rethink that one moment of like Stu talking about how they're like kind of going to be remembered for this. Like there's a fame aspect to him that he's like,
and there absolutely is,
to like continue the story, to be like, and now the cult continues and like all my copycats go out and do things because I'm a legacy.
Exactly.
Like, kind of what the franchise becomes later too, which is
there's that weird craving for acknowledgement that Stu has that he never gets from Billy. So imagine he survives, goes to prison, starts getting all of this fan mail. All of a sudden, he's getting all of that attention he's always wanted. He's always been that larger-than-life character. He's always been an influencer who's always been silenced by the guy he looks up to. But that guy's gone now. So what do you do with a persona and a personality that's just waiting to explode and demands attention, demands control? He's going to turn into a manipulator of not just 1, 2, 3. It's going to be so many people. It's such a good idea. I really wish it was a film and not a TV show.
Yeah, the equation is just right there. Like it is right there. That's so cool. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. Sorry if I sidetracked us on that one.
No, not at all. I was gonna talk about how like there was a gun involved in all of this. It was on the counter, but now it's gone. Gale comes in with the gun, fucking fires a round off.
I love the shaky hand. She doesn't get the round off in that though, because it's on safety.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
I
that's
love
right.
the shot of her holding up the gun, and it's just like her hand is just wavering the entire time. Like she's being really boss bitch about it, like really convincing in her
And
words.
she's
But her body
bleeding
just
from her head and her mouth too. Like she's been fucked up from the car crash. Billy boots her right in the chest and knocks her out and gets the gun. Sid gets away.
Her dad to get away.
They do the thing where it's like you never look away from the killer, but in this instance, she gets away, calls them, this is an instance where it's clearly her with a voice changer too, where she's like, "What's your favorite scary movie? Well, I'm coming for you." And
the cops like just dropping.
She's like, I called the police. We find out what it was all peer pressure. I'm far too sensitive.
I think when they're using the voice changer, and you can hear their own voice and the voice actor doing the scream voice, it's so funny. It's so funny because like I've tried to do this before with my own voice and then like putting a thing over it. It's quite difficult to like sync up perfectly, and you can kind of tell at times it's not perfect, but it makes it like slightly comedic. Like there's one point where he pulls it away, and then you can hear it go like, "All right," like it's like, "Oh, go up, right, you shit." Like the voice actor trying to sync it up. It's pretty good. I like it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I wonder how many people went out there looking to find that thing, like that voice changer, like on
so many,
like a gag shop or something. I'm like,
that's just sold them at like Spirit or like whatever.
No, I know, but like it's a voice actor. It's not a voice changer. It's another actor is doing all the lines, right? So people would go in thinking they're gonna sound exactly like freaking Ghostface, and they just sound like a weird robot voice.
Yeah,
well, they used to
come out sounding like Ed Gein.
Yeah.
Do you remember spy shops in malls?
No.
They had
and you have all like the weird spy tech and like the like writing in like invisible ink and like all the
You could get voice changers from those shops. I remember my dad had a friend who was in the Hells Angels who opened one in Halifax Shopping Center. And I remember going in there and it had all kinds of weird shit like that, what you're referencing, but also like a bug you could listen in on to people with glasses with the rear view mirrors on them.
Oh yeah,
which Baxter Stockman famously used in the Ninja Turtles cartoon, as I recall. But yeah, you can get those voice changers, but they do not sound like.
They will make you sound exactly like that.
Yeah. Let me just rephrase what I was saying. I wonder how many fucking morons went out and tried to make themselves sound exactly like Ghostface Killer. Yeah. Zero success rate, by the way. Yeah.
Unless they have like a natural voice that could just like work with something like that, but rare and probably not.
I was wondering if the rapper Ghostface from Wu-Tang Clan comes before this movie or like right at the same time-ish. I actually don't know the answer to that, so if you're listening, please tell me. But Billy does lose his shit. He starts fucking punching. He takes that coach apart. He starts punching and stabbing.
Really, the violence explode in that moment, like him losing control and not being the narrator anymore of his story, and just
because Sid's in control at this point.
Tantrum.
She's hiding in
feathers after that. He's walking around.
Yeah, his one hand is fully covered in feathers. Sid is fully in a closet dressed as Ghostface and emerges out and stabs Billy twice with an umbrella. And Cass, you said like that it's blunt, so it took a lot of force.
Right. That was a lot of adrenaline and hatred, and like she was feeling some things. I could imagine.
And we get the Stu coming back and getting a TV dropped right onto his head.
Yeah. Welcome to prime time, bitch. Is what he
That's exactly what I said to Cass at that moment.
Yeah.
And then Gale comes back and shoots Billy. Everything's over. Jamie Kennedy comes up with one more rule, one more scare from Billy. He does go, and then as the movie ends, we see Gale and her new cameraman,
unnamed cameraman.
Interesting.
She's supposed to be like a shitty tabloid journalist, right? Like she doesn't work for any kind of like actual legitimized news network. So like, who is this other cameraman?
I wonder if it's literally one of the kids that like ran away and she was like, you hold this camera.
Yeah. Or like, there's just some paparazzi style guy that shows up and she's like, you want to be my new cameraman? Mine died. He's over there in the ditch.
I was gone for a sec there, but we talked about the closet that Sydney came out of, right?
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. We were talking about like specifically the amount of force that she would have had to use like adrenaline style to stab through.
Did you have something to add?
Yeah, exactly. Like the blunt umbrella. But did anybody bring up the fact that she was shocked when her father came out of the exact same closet?
Yeah. Because like obviously he was in there with her. Like he must have
exactly. Yeah, it had to be.
She forgot.
But also I can imagine like so much happened so quickly to be like just hearing any sound. She would probably be like, oh my God, wait.
I would be startled too, yeah. If I had just shot somebody right in the head and then I heard a loud noise behind me, I'd probably shit my pants instantly. Be like, another one? There's 3 of them.
Time, though, if you ended up like if you were terrified and you like hid in a closet because your boyfriend's trying to kill you, and in the closet you're like, oh my God, it's my father who's bound and gagged. I'm just gonna leave him.
I thought that she brought him in there.
I thought she brought him in there too. Because it was after like
because they're both in the they're both in the kitchen when they get distracted.
I think it's after like the gun.
Are you serious? Did I miss that?
Yeah. I think it's afterwards because like it's after both Stu and Billy go out with like Gail. Gail's knocked out. Billy's about to shoot her. They both look away. Sid and Dad are no longer there. And then afterwards, Sydney comes out of the closet while they're like looking for her. And just
also when they go
that
back
makes way too much sense.
When they go back in the kitchen, Billy says,
I don't remember that.
Billy says, "Where are they?" So
I
think they're both in there. Yeah.
I think that's where Sydney brought them. But like to be fair, a lot of things happen so quickly in those last moments that it's like, where is everybody? It's a lot.
Which also adds to your point, though. Like, why would she be surprised? She also put him in there, so she knows he's in there. Yeah, it wasn't a surprise. Yeah. Yeah.
What's your favorite ending to this movie?
It's like Clue.
Yeah.
Which of the 3?
So yeah, fun fact about Kenny, I wanted to mention this. He was one of the best characters on Deadwood.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, he was the bodyguard for Ian McShane's character in Deadwood. I just wanted to mention that. I didn't mention it when we talked about his death because we kind of went through it, but that's pretty much the end of the movie. Like that's Scream. Like we covered everything. We got through it in a succinct way, which is great. Like it's interesting when everybody knows the movie. You know, it's really fun to talk about that way, and I think we had a great time talking about it. But that's it. That's Scream in the bag. Should we talk about our final thoughts, our Home Alone it all, and our ratings?
If you had to pick one, what do you think the Home Alone of it all?
The Home Alone of it all?
Can someone please tell me when the Home Alone of it all?
I really gotta know.
When is the Home Alone of it all?
What is the Home Alone of it all?
Now that's the Home Alone of it all.
What were we gonna say, Cass?
Oh, I was just gonna add like one kind of thing I was reading yesterday.
Yeah, we're gonna start the podcast over. Start from one.
Just restart. Sorry, take two. No, I was reading something about the actor who plays Billy that he like got accidentally stabbed in like a already like scarred area on his body like during that like last kind of filming scene, which is crazy. And then another thing was Drew Barrymore actually accidentally calling 911 in the opening scenes when they were filming, and then police actually did show up on set and they were like, oh no, that phone was live. Is like very funny little things that happened on the set that I think are cool.
That's good trivia, and I'm gonna keep you in the hot seat because in the movie Home Alone there's a sequence where Kevin McAllister slaps down the blueprint to create the funhouse that destroys the infiltrators. That's sort of we've determined the point of all movies that you're there to see, the point of the movie where it really sort of ramps up. It could be your favorite part of the movie or the third act. So Cass, off of that, and you've been here enough to know what to do, but tell us about your Home Alone of it all, your final thoughts, and a rating if you have one.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be a little bit crazy on this one because you know me, I usually have like a couple different things where I'm like, these are my options for Home Alone of it all. This movie specifically, my Home Alone of it all is the opening. From the moment that like we get these first kills, I am every single time, no matter how many times I've seen this movie, I am hooked. Every single part of me is like, I am on this journey no matter what. So I think it's just a nonstop roller coaster for me. And I kind of like that. Usually it's like, okay, we get something halfway through that like really gets me. It's the whole thing, like from start to finish. Final thoughts. Casting incredible, costuming amazing. The script and storytelling aspect, like creating this entire masterpiece, is so funny and smart and iconic. Like totally changed the game on everything. And I don't have any notes other than I just maybe want to meet Matthew Lillard in real life and be like, hello, sir. I love you so much. Can we just like hang out? Whatever. Rating, I don't know, like solid, like 10 out of 10. I don't even have something like funny prepared. It's just so good. Maybe like double feature killer duo nightmare of my dreams. That's my rating.
All right. That's pretty good.
I love that.
Where's my applause? Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Fantastic. How about you, Ben?
Well, I think everyone kind of knows my opinion on this film. For me, the Home Alone of it all is only really elevated by what Cass said about the opening, because nobody really expected that, especially having such a well-known actor who you not only do you think it, they kind of tell you that they're the lead based off of the promotional material, and then within a few minutes they're gone, and then you get hit with somebody that you don't even really know who they are. But for me, the Home Alone of it all is Randy explaining the rules to survive a horror film. And this is a world where all of these people have seen all of the movies that we've seen, and they know what they're in for. And I have never seen that before. It kind of has been done before. Randy's character isn't completely original. But this is the first mainstream version of it, and it made me want to rewatch the movie. Not even finish it. As soon as he started going through those rules, I wanted to stop and start over again and just try and go through it, because I was so invested already. And that speech, that one scene is a love letter to my heart. It's everything I love about horror movies. It's one of my favorite things in the world. And that is incredibly precious and very special to me. And that's why I keep going through all these films. But this movie is so important because of that one scene. Like it trumps everything. Halloween is my favorite movie of all time. I give that a 10 out of 10. Scream, right there with it. 10 out of 10. Couldn't be anything less.
Awesome.
Steve. Yeah, I like this movie. My Home Alone of it all.
Solid review.
My Home Alone of it all is Also, I'm on board with Cass saying the beginning because I think it sets up everything you need to know. It gives you the tone. It also gives you a bit of humor mixed in with a lot of horror, and you kind of understand what you're getting into, though it doesn't give away everything. I think it also set a very high bar, just that opening for what we're going to get through at the movie. And not that it necessarily doesn't meet that bar throughout. I don't think it surpasses it. And I don't think that there's any part of the movie that I think is better than the very opening sequence. But that's also not to say that any part of the movie is worse than it either. I think it did like an outstanding job. When it comes to the movie itself, I think it's extremely important for particularly this genre that was almost existed in this oversaturated culture of what we expect and what we know of movies, and it was able to show us that like there's almost like this absurdity of belief in what these movies can be, and even the characters within them think that there are rules that exist and apply to them in real life, but having an idea of self-awareness or autonomy as Sydney develops throughout the movie. She's almost like at the whim of everybody around her, but by the end she's able to realize that like, I'm not going to play by your stupid fucking rules. I'm going to make up my own rules. I'm not in your movie. You're in my movie, baby. And and it's like, it's really cool. And it also changed the way that these movies work, not just in terms of narrative, but in terms of like what you have in base of expectations for characters, the way they can film them, stylistically, music, everything. It's all kind of an evolution and a change to the genre that was absolutely needed. And you can still feel the echoes of it to this day, which is really cool as well. It shook things up in the best way possible. And I think for a rating, I'm going to give it the very first in podcast history. Rum bum 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 bum.
That's fair.
Beautiful.
That's fair.
I'm the Alfred Hitchcock of fucking podcasters, all right?
That's what they used to call you.
The Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, the Alfred Hitchcock.
Well, this show is a little bit kitsch, and it's a little bit country, and it's a little bit rock and roll. I don't know what I'm saying. My Home Alone it all. Yep, thank you. There it is. There it is. There it is. We haven't heard that in a whole week. My Home Alone of it all this week is when Billy slaps the blueprint down on the table and tells everybody his master plan. And basically that last sequence of them stabbing each other and all of the things happening. It's a very iconic moment for me. I do see what you guys are saying about the cold open also. Worth noting. Definitely the next Home Alone of it all after what I'm saying from my point of view. I'm gonna just read my actual review. So sorry to our listeners who hate it when I read things, but my initial impression, it's a great film. Taking the horror genre and subverting it this way was an incredible idea, and from start to finish, I was captivated. There were moments that give me genuine thrills, which after watching so much horror these last few years is a feat. The cast is standout. Neve Campbell is a great final girl, reminding me of Laurie Strode with a modern twist. I wonder if people back in the 90s could easily figure out who the killer was, or if it was genuinely tough to decode, because even knowing the spoilers, I was misdirected multiple times, which I appreciate. The references to other horror add a cool layer, giving it a rare meta quality that feels fresh. Speaking of horror references, I'm pretty sure the score includes an nod to classic horror, which I love since this feels like a love letter to the genre. The soundtrack is great too. The twist is excellent. The execution is tight. If I had to nitpick, the kills themselves aren't super original, but that's not really the point here. I give this a 4.5 out of 5. Highly recommended for horror fans. Though let's be real, if you love horror, you've probably already seen this film. I also give this movie, play this podcast on a loop in a theater, and you're allowed to come into it whenever you want out of a million.
Just like a toilet.
You should have played the toilet sound. Which I'm sure is going to be the new way to tell Jason to shut up. For a time it was the Green Ranger, then it was Shaft, then it was... Yep, and here we are.
Now it'll be a Marco Beltrami stinger.
I don't know what that means.
I just listen to the score of the movie.
Yeah. But we did it. We got through the movie. The only thing left to do is talk about our plugs.
All right, let me just plug this in right here and
spoilers. The guy's dead. Cass.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to promote this week?
Not necessarily promote. I don't think. I mean, I'm doing a 48-hour film festival next weekend, which I'm very excited about. I don't know which night we're going to be premiering, but it'll be fun. And I'm probably going to be haunting your internet feed very soon with a lot of Christmas commercials. So I apologize in advance. I'm going to be really annoying. But other than that, I don't really have anything to shout out other than you guys. Thanks for having me on, as always. It's a great time. And yeah, rock on. That's all I got. Awkward as hell. What happened to me?
No, I like rock on. I think rock on works. Thank you, Cass. Come back every single time. How about you, Ben? What do you got going on, buddy?
I mean, Sandra and I are still doing the BS Bargain Bin. You can find us mainly on YouTube, but like any podcast network, anywhere, podcatcher, what have you. We just got greenlit for season 2 of We Were Liars. Season 1 is on Prime right now, so check that out if anybody likes YA thriller series. It's a lot of fun, and it's a very well done show. Other than that, it's just I'm trying to fucking watch movies and get some fun content up. So anybody watching, if you have any recommendations of movies, like requests that you want us to cover, let us know. We'll get on top of that, and we're gonna have a lot of fun doing it. So thank you so much for having me on again. I don't even know what time this is. Like how many times have I been here?
10.
10? 10? We'll go with 10.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, it's easily up there.
Well, thank you so much.
You're also welcome back every single time that we do any sort of anything. I thought it was great that you guys got to meet each other too. You guys were both great guys.
So good. Absolutely amazing.
I love meeting cool people on this podcast. I'm like, well, of course you guys know more cool people. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Cass's 12th time, and this is Ben's 11th time. So
we're battling now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
all right.
Let them fight.
We'll fight it in the Coliseum. It'll be fine.
We're gonna only have you guys back on together, and you'll never be able to get out of Cass's
shadow.
Yeah, I like the upper hand.
And shadow. The shadow upper spotlight.
The shadow. I'm okay with that.
Okay. How about you, Steve? What you got cooking on the back burner this week?
Hello, my name is Steve in Boba Black Fly Waters, and this is what I have cooking on the the Boba Black fleet this week. I am in a show called Stanland. I talk about it all the time. It's a fun audio miniseries that you can listen to. You can hear me say funny lines like "ooh" and "oh" and "what." But yeah, we're doing a miniseries based on the miniseries, and that's going to be coming out in 3-episode chunks. The first 3 episodes of that bonus series are already out, which I play a major role in that in every episode. And both Cass and Jason are also featured in a few episodes. I think Cass is in the first episode and Jason is in the second episode. And if all goes well, you guys will also be joining us for some of the other episodes in the future, which I can talk to you guys about that off mic. Hopefully it all works out because you guys are fun to work with. I also am the voice of the Three-Eyed Theorist, a Game of Thrones channel where we tell stories in the Game of Thrones universe, as well as Darth Theorist, where at the end of this month, we have something very special for everybody, and I'm going to play something right now that might tell you exactly what that is.
A long time ago, in a galaxy of endless wars, some stories are older than the stars themselves. Tales whispered in shadows. Stories the Jedi dared never to record. Last year, we brought you a tale steeped in fire and drowned in mud, pulled straight from a nightmare, and cast back to hell. This year, Darth Theorist unleashes not one nightmare, but four tales of terror carved from the darkest corners of the galaxy, each one a little on the dark side. In the videos.
I couldn't figure out how to end it.
We really had some time to marinate ourselves.
Yeah.
So cool, dude. I love that.
That looks awesome.
That's amazing.
It's going to be fun. So yeah, it's just a couple of horror stories that me and the other writers are cooking up. Mine's going to be about Wookiee curses. Curse of the Wookiee is what it's called.
How do I feel like it's going to be the scariest one?
Maybe.
Oh, definitely. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Steven's
so it's
a real freak.
It's at the end of the month. The last 5 days of the month, it's going to be those four episodes. But yeah, the goal of that was basically to, like, when you're a little kid and when October would roll around, all your favorite like television channels would always get like spooky branding, and for the whole month it would all be like Halloween episodes and stuff. It's kind of what we're trying to do for that. So that spooky
favorite time of the year.
Me too.
Yeah, that looks awesome. Go and watch that, everybody. Speaking of spooky, scary shit, here in Toronto, I am the announcer for Super Kicked Wrestling. We have our zombie wrestling series coming up. We don't have any matches announced or anything because it sort of just happens. On the 24th, 25th, 30th, and 31st, we are running shows for zombie wrestling. I'm going to be a part of the 24th, the 25th, and the 31st. On the 30th, of course, is a Thursday. I have to be here telling you all about Halloween Resurrection, so look out for that as well. Super Kick Pro Wrestling is a great independent promotion here in Toronto, and I encourage everybody to go to, I encourage everybody to go to Zombie Wrestling because it is kind of our WrestleMania, if you understand that reference. It's the biggest night of the year, and it's slowly progressed into 4 nights of the year. 2 of the nights happen at the actual studio, Super Kick Studios, at basically a Bloor Station or Dundas West Station area, and the other 2 I think are happening at the Great Hall where we normally run shows. So look out for that. This is a thing too where you can't get it after the fact online. We don't have it as like an on-demand after. It's a very much self-contained, one night only feel. Obviously it's not one night only anymore, but in addition to that, I'd like to let everybody know that this show, Hey Did You See This One, normally runs on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can get our whole backlog on where we get your podcast. Video on demand for the show goes up usually the next day. Obviously it's Wednesday and I'm going camping tomorrow night. Going into horror month, and going into the woods. It's going to be my own mountain to climb. I'll be fine. Hopefully I don't get eaten by a zombie bear.
Yeah. You should change all your text notifications to
But we do have merch. We have the Howie Mandela effect, which you can get on a t-shirt. You can get the Grimoire of Familiar Killers, the very month that you're watching right now. Out of that, we have Kill Aid, who is very much a part of a couple years ago. We came up with the character Kill Aid, who is clearly Jason Voorhees. If he was
on a pin yet? Because I want him on an enamel pin.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, actually, an enamel pin of that would be sick. Well, I'll have to talk to my enamel guy.
Okay, cool. Well, you talk to him.
I'm going to talk to my enamel guy about getting a Twinkerbell enamel pin and an Eldritch Millennial pin.
I love that one.
Eldron, of course, by Stephen Bow Blyfly Waters.
They're all so good
drawings.
Thanks.
And also Corporal Tunnel Syndrome, who is a spin-off of our James Bond month. He's a James Bond villain. He's got diggers for hands, and he'll dig you, brother. But that's our show for this week, you freaks. Gather around, freaks, once again when we come back to you next week with Freddy versus Jason and Craig Webster. It's going to be a great episode. Now, I know that you don't like to do this, Ben, but since Cass is here, could you both at the same time, if I count back, I know, look at his face. If I count backwards from 3, could you just ask the question that needs to be asked each and every week on this very program? 3,
sure.
2, 1.
Hey. Did you? This?
See? What?
Did you see this? Did you see this one?
Did you see this one?
I did.
Hey, everybody. Did you hear the news about the guy going around calling himself Butcher Pete?
What's your favorite cut of meat? I like the back shank. Or the butt chop. That's my real favorite.
The butt chop.
Yep.
You gotta kiss your own butt.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And take a peek into the darkness with Heard Noise, Must Investigate with Michael Chan. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mario Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.
Steve and Jason, congratulations on 201 episodes. I'm so proud of you guys. I knew you'd get there.